my background too.
There we go. Yeah, I noticed it was like lacking in magic over there.
Oh,
Brighten the lights there.
Check if I'm muted. I'm not muted. I was muted. It wasn't. What?
Everything's going crazy.
It showed I wasn't muted, so I went to click on it. But in the meantime, it muted. So when I clicked on it, it unmuted. And apparently, I got an ad. So apparently, I am no longer a subscriber. So I need to remedy that.
It's time.
And there's some good Capcom sales going on right now. Like
Capcom.
If you don't have the Capcom beat 'em up bundle, which if you don't, what are you doing with your life?
I never know what I'm doing with my life. What are you talking about?
I mean, do you have this? Why, if not,
I do not have the beat up game. No.
Oh, dude, have you seen it?
I have seen it. Yes.
It's a collection.
Right. What's the sale price?
I can't see because I have it purchased.
Oh, because you have it purchased. Okay.
Final Fight, Captain Commando, King of Dragons, Knights of the Round, and Warriors of Fate, as well as 2 games that were previously unavailable.
Paper.
Capcom beat 'em up bundle.
Capcom beat 'em up.
Capcom beat 'em up. Beat 'em up.
That's one of the nice things about the website revamp is even when if you've purchased it, it'll still tell you the price now.
Yes.
It is nice. Half off. It is $10 instead of
$10. That's pretty good.
It is.
I might be able to use some of my points for that one.
You should. I think you will like it.
Oh, did you see what I posted in the Nintendo?
All these Capcom games on sale on Switch. Is Mega Man on sale? Nope. Just Resident Evil, Capcom Arcadium Stadium. You know, they just listed Mega Man as their fourth biggest selling franchise. What have they done with Mega Man since Mega Man 11? Nothing.
Between 10 and 11 was a hell of a lot of nothing, too.
That's true. You're exactly right.
And they even made a video showing this.
Yep. They were like, hey, we just wanted you to remember all those years that you thought we forgot about Mega Man. We did. Then we remembered him and made a great game. That quickly went to Walmart bargain bins because people have garbage taste in video games. Anyway.
Oh, do you want me to?
You are spicy today, aren't you?
Since we're streaming, I won't completely spoil it. But when we talk about BugSnax, do you want me to use the word kid?
Yes.
Because I didn't do that originally, but I can add that in.
Yes.
Okay, I added it in.
Kid.
Thank you. And I'm trying to get.
I'm sorry. I'm not following.
I got it.
Look in the notes for what Justin's been playing, and it'll make sense.
Oh. For what Justin's been playing. It's not where we've been. Oh, I see it. Robo Kid, Justin.
Shh.
No. Sorry. Jeez. Okay. Anyway, let's do this before I ruin anything else.
Let's go. All right, there. I got my background going. All right. Jeez, I had to.
Like I've never recorded
reinstall that background. I know it's all. This is our first time.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Okay. So over here, your background's looking kind of grainy.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! What the heck?
I knew that you would be later on. You'd be like, "Why didn't you tell me?"
All right, I'll just keep that going. Maybe sometime during the middle of the show, I'll just turn my lights on.
Just get up and.
Maybe during the PokéMinute, I'll do it. All right.
Poke 5 minutes probably today.
Yeah, there's a lot of notes there.
There's a lot there.
Okay, to mute to get that. Okay. Jeez. All right. I have the opener ready. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Is the chat ready? I can't see the chat. So we're just going to go. 3, 2, Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 373, recorded on April 28th, 2022. On tonight's episode, we talk about Mario movie delays, Splatoon 3 date revealed, Kirby's birthday, not E3 announcements, and some awesome community questions. Jesse, you know what to do.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You know what time it is? It's Nintendo Dads, episode 373. It's April 28th, 2022. Not 2022, but 2022, if that makes sense. On tonight's episode, we are going to talk about a lot of stuff, and let me just tell you, it's been a week, right? It's been a week for, if you're a Nintendo fan, lots of stuff going on, some of it good, some of them it not good, but we're going to break down all of that news and a lot more. Joining me on the show tonight, as usual, is Mr. Jesse Waldack. Again, Nintendo Dad, 7-year running Employee of the Year.
Pretty good. I've been my wife had a project for me to work on, and she gave it to me like 2 weeks ago, but I didn't get around to it until this week. She wanted to have a new set of arrows for this weekend's event.
Rookie mistake, Waldack.
So I was able to get 10 of these created with
look at there
with the feathers and on the flight end, but I'm waiting for her to get her bow ready so she can measure draw distance so I can cut this to size before I can attach the tip. So are the tips are they lethal or non-lethal? They'll hurt. They'll probably do some damage. I don't think they'll kill you, but
so they're set to stun.
Yeah, they're metal. So,
ooh, yeah, I don't want to get hit with that.
But it's the bows that we use are not heavy bows, so
sure.
We don't physically have the draw power to throw a fatal arrow, but it'll still hurt.
You know, like I grew up being taught. You don't ever point a gun. You don't ever point a bow and arrow at somebody unless or something, unless you're going to shoot it. Right.
Right.
And it was like, that was drilled into me as a kid. Now they have these places where you can go and you can play bow tag, which like they give you bows and arrows with something that looks like a marshmallow on the end of the arrow. And you run around like arrow. Laser tag and shoot arrow tag.
So
that's ruined my childhood.
We don't. It's not common, but like the week-long wars, I don't think we do it here. But in Mississippi, in March, they do. They will have battle archers on the warfield, and they've got to be blunted. I don't know, like tennis ball or something on the end, and the archers have to have some sort of armor protection. I think leather at minimum. So, imagine
going to you're just going to the bathroom like in the middle of the night, like you're just going to you're there and you're going to take a pee and all of a sudden whack, and then they're taunting you like the French.
I think a few years ago my wife did get hit in the foot with an arrow.
That was not yeah. She faced the agony of defeat.
Toe.
As in
toe removal. That didn't really happen. I was trying to go on with the joke.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, there's no way to segue toe removal into introducing Tim off, unless we just want to call him Tim the Toe.
Tim the Toe.
Probably not. You probably don't want that. But Tim's here with us this week too. How are you doing, Tim?
That would be Tim the Toe-less.
Yes.
That's very true. I'm doing pretty good. First, I have to say is that if there is ever a zombie apocalypse, I am going to move in with Jesse, and my family and I are going to move in with Jesse.
Yeah, because he can do anything. I mean,
because he can put together arrows, and his wife can shoot them. So,
mm-hmm.
And Jesse, you can shoot them too, right?
And since he's not here tonight,
I have a bow as well. It's just been years since I've used it.
Yep. Yeah. See, you're Daryl Dixon waiting to happen.
When I started to practice archery, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, and I've talked about that on the show.
Here's the thing. Here's things. We since he's not on the show tonight, we can say that we know who the most useless member of the Nintendo Dads team would be in a zombie apocalypse. It's Justin.
I hate you all.
Oops, let's try that again.
I heard it.
I hate you all.
There you go.
I still had the volume
No,
down
I think
from the-
Justin would be good to have around to barter, and like he use his business skills.
He's used the business skills. Yeah.
Anyway,
I thought you were talking about
I'd be
using him to barter with.
Oh, we can definitely do that too.
I'll give you 3 fingers if you give us some time.
Listen, it's better than being the fat guy that gets shot in the knee so the zombies don't get you, because that's everybody knows that's me. Guys, there's a lot to get through tonight. Of course, Justin's not with us for real, but the 3 of us are going to wade into the news. So let's do that right now, shall we? And of course, tonight's show is brought to you by Manscaped, but it's also brought to you by our good friends, you, over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where you can go and join in with a cavalcade of other people who have decided that giving us money is a good idea. You support all the things that go on here at Nintendo Dads HQ, and we are so thankful for each and every one of you. Last week, you got to hear one of our brand new Patreon producers, Alexander Ocampo, did a fantastic job on the show. I was so excited to have him get to be on. When I wish I could have been here. Instead, I was off I was somewhere in the Caribbean. I don't know.
Somewhere on a boat.
Because once you leave the port and you don't have internet anymore, you literally don't know where you are. It's just water all around you.
Your phone can probably tell you with your GPS coordinates, but wouldn't be able to render a map.
Yeah, that's true. I did have internet during the ride or during the cruise. It worked. It just, like when you're out literally in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, it's just like you're in the Gulf of Mexico. 4 hours later, you're in the Gulf of Mexico.
The last time I was on a boat, I did like load up Pokemon Go, and so the little avatars looks like he's just walking on water.
Walking on water.
I am Pokemon Go Jesus.
That's a show title right there. That's this week's show title. There's no other
Pokemon Go Jesus.
No, I need to find.
I'm Pokemon Go Jesus. Wow, that just feels kind of blasphemous to say. But anyway, you can head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Join up over there.
I'm envisioning that classic Jesus picture of him laughing right now about that name.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was thinking of that old painting of him like bowing down and the light shining on him as he prays and he's holding an iPhone.
Yes.
Anyway, another way that you can support the show, and we don't say this very often, but we do want to remind you, is if you are an Amazon Prime member, you can head over to twitch.tv or somewhere in there. I always forget how to do this, and you can use your Twitch Prime membership to subscribe to us.
Yeah, I just
you have to renew it every month.
I just used mine to renew before we recorded.
Because
when I went to moderate, I got a commercial.
There you go. And if you do that, you also get access to the Discord. Shh, don't tell anybody. Actually, tell everybody and just come follow us on Twitch. That'd be great. So, big news for the week. I think this is probably the biggest news of the week is that the currently untitled Mario movie starring Chris Pratt as Mario has been delayed until September 7th, 2023. April 7th. Sorry. I don't know why I said September. It says either. April right there, right on the notes. This was announced via a tweet sent out by Nintendo's various PR arms, Nintendo of America, Nintendo of Europe, everywhere, and began with the now iconic
one. I saw the Japanese one first before NA's.
It begins with the now memed into oblivion. This is Miyamoto, as if he's the one typing the tweet, which he was not. But this movie is now delayed, and I wanted to ask you guys: Did you think it was going to be on time?
Yes.
No.
I thought
to the point where if we don't hear anything, if we don't see a trailer by E3-ish time, I'm using E3 in quotes, I would have figured November isn't happening.
I was going to say that when the Sonic movie opened and there was not at least a teaser in front of it.
Yeah, that would have been the perfect time to put it in.
That was the beginning of the end, right? That was like the something's wrong here. But if you guys think about this, holiday 2022 is pretty much October through the end of December, right?
Right.
That's kind of the place they were shooting
unlike
for.
Game releases, you can have a movie launch on Christmas Day and it would still do well.
Yes.
A game may not do so well that day.
That's
that week.
Very true. So here's the thing. Holiday 2022 is just about, if you count, like we're at the end of April, right? May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months away. And we had not yet seen a single character still, like design still. We had not seen any footage of like test footage of it being recorded. Honestly, we've not even seen a logo.
Well, yeah, just like Breath of the Wild 2, there's no title yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you guys think it's just going to be Super Mario movie?
Possibly, but I'm hoping for something different.
I'm a little scared because of Miyamoto's involvement.
You think he's messing it up?
I don't know about messing it up, but I think he's, you know how he is with being a perfectionist.
Yeah. Well, they just don't want a repeat of 1993.
Oh yeah. My God. Listen, guys, we could show up to the theater and they could show 2 hours of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show cartoon, and it would be better than the old Mario movie. Seriously. I mean, they could have Chris Pratt walk in there and in his normal voice say, "It's a me, Mario," and it would be better than Bob Hoskins, who was drunk for the entire filming of the original Super Mario Brothers movie. And he admits that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
There's a good chance. Let's be honest, guys. There's a good chance that Nintendo and Super Mario Brothers contributed greatly to the death of Bob Hoskins.
Oof.
That's an interesting
I mean
there.
It's
that took a dark turn.
Here's the thing, though. I think that you're exactly right, though, Tim, about Miyamoto's involvement. And I think that the expectations for this movie are now greater than they were.
Yeah.
In a way, every delay ratchets up the expectations. And this is where I'm worried about it. Not because of Miyamoto's involvement, but because what we've seen in the past is Nintendo's, I guess, expectation management is not great.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm feeling like that would have been a good time to say, "Hey, it's Miyamoto. The movie's not going to be ready when it's supposed to be, but here's some character stills. Like here's some shots of some of the characters. Here's a picture of Chris Pratt recording his lines. And on the monitor behind him, you can see Mario."
Yeah.
Right.
I'm also worried about like what's going on behind the scenes as far as Universal or what is it, Illumination?
Illumination.
We're kind of saying to Nintendo, "Hey, this is how we do things in the movie industry. Here's what you should be doing." And then they're like, "Nope, we're not doing that because we're Nintendo and we don't want to do that right now." So I wonder how many conversations like that is going on.
It's an interesting spot to be in because Nintendo typically leads the pack. Like when I think about mascots of companies, and iconic IP characters, Nintendo's the pack leader there most of the time. In this case, Sega's eating their lunch because Sonic 1 and I just got to see Sonic 2 like 2 days ago. Both of those movies were good movies. Like they're not great. Like I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, this is high cinema," or whatever.
Oscar worthy.
But y'all, the Sonic 2 was great. It was so good, and it was so much fun.
Movie, yeah.
It was so much fun to watch. It was so much fun to notice all the little hidden Easter eggs, like the Mean Bean coffee place and the the different places they were and all the little logos and things. It was great to see all that stuff.
Right.
And think about when Sonic the movie got announced, how we all felt about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw the first character shot and we were like, oh gosh, no.
Monstrosity Sonic.
And then the voices were heard and they took the feedback and they met in the middle and they made that great course correction and they knocked it out of the park as far, not just with the design, but with the script, with the way it all came together.
Yeah.
It made you actually care about it. And then this was like Sonic 2, the video game in movie form, which how can you go wrong? The only way they could have gone wrong and they did was there was no chemical plant. There was no chemical plant. So
maybe that'll be
saving that for number 3.
Yeah. Mecha Dragon says, I truly believe that the success of the Sonic movie for Miyamoto is shaking in his boots. I don't necessarily think he's shaking in his boots, but I think it is, adds more stress.
I do think I don't think adding. That's the word. It adds expectation.
Yeah, expectation.
Like Sonic was good, so Mario's got to be great, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, the difference is that Mario is completely animated, and it's going to have to hold everybody's attention. So, I don't know. I think there are some things that they're worried about here, but I would not go so far as to say that Sonic anything has Nintendo shaking in their boots.
Right.
Yeah. I think just like Nintendo's games they normally don't care what the other people do.
Right.
I don't think they really care what Sega's doing with their movies.
I think they're taking some cues from it. I don't think.
I'm not saying they're being oblivious. It's just that, okay, that movie's good. We're still going to do what we're going to do.
I think the release date in April is a direct result of Sonic making a ton of money. But here's the thing. I don't know if Sonic made a ton of money because it was released in April or because it's pretty much the only thing for kids at the theater now.
That helps.
That's actually recognizable IP. Like there's the Bad Guys movie that looks like it was animated by the same people who animated Turning Red, but it's DreamWorks and not Disney. It looks funny, but it's not going to be something I'm going to rush to the theater to see. I'm going to wait.
Right.
I'm going
this Mario movie isn't the only movie delay. Did you hear what else got delayed?
Oh,
Into the Spider-Verse sequel.
It got delayed.
Yes.
Yeah. Both of them, parts 1 and 2, got delayed. So it'll be.
Okay.
I don't know. I think part 1 will be around the same time as this, earlier 23, and then part 2. I think I don't remember if they said late 23 or into 24. I don't remember.
I thought you were going to say it was Velocipaster 2 got delayed to you laugh, but that's a real movie, Jesse. It's about a priest who travels to the ancient East and gains the power to turn into a velociraptor to fight ninjas. You can stream it right now.
I saw the preview for that.
Yeah. I need to watch it. I keep saying I'm gonna.
Is that just the
Velocipaster night?
Moon Knight?
Moon Knight is a poor man's Moon Knight, but that's a whole nother can of worms. Anyway, Mario movie. If you had this on your bingo card for what you were going to do with your family at Christmas, sorry, you'll just have to listen to more political arguing instead.
So Tony Baker says that in 2023, Switch Pro, new Mario movie, and a Mario game, and Breath of the Wild 2, and Nintendo added Advance Wars are all going to launch on the same day.
Yep. It's just going to be, you got to go take your new Switch Pro to the movie theater to download the new exclusive Mario game.
Yes.
Actually, can I tell you what my conspiracy theory is?
You're playing the movie.
Can I tell you my Nintendo
download play to work?
Here's my Nintendo conspiracy theory of the week. All right. So the news that's going around that Ubisoft could possibly be purchased. Nintendo delayed the Mario movie so they could purchase Ubisoft so they could put Rabbids in as official Mario characters.
Oh, no.
What?
No.
It's going to happen. They're the closest thing that Ubisoft has to anything Nintendo. Anyway. Other big news this week, Splatoon 2's DLC Octo expansion is now available for the NSO expansion pack. If you're a subscriber, this is where we would play the thing Justin was right, but we would really just say Nintendo Dads was right because we were. And really in a roundabout way, because we've said, I believe, that one of the predictions is that Splatoon 3's inevitable DLC will be added to the NSO expansion pack. And I think this is just proof that it's going to happen. All right. When I said that, somebody mentioned, well, what about the Smash DLC? I wanted to ask you this. Do you guys think that we'll ever see the Smash DLC get added to the expansion pass?
No.
I don't think so. It's already broken up into so many pieces, and most people who would have bought it already would have.
Yeah.
Of course, that could be an argument of putting it on there, because they know they're not going to make any more money.
I guarantee you that when Breath of the Wild 2 gets a release date and it gets close to that, the Breath of the Wild DLC is going to show up on NSO.
That I can see.
And it's 2 parts. So, there's precedent for parts being there. I don't think that they're going to.
How about this? All the 75-cent me costumes, look at those.
Hey, I'll finally buy.
That would be cool.
I'll finally download all those Persona ones I don't care about. Yeah,
that would work.
I did. I downloaded most of them, Jesse. But when I was getting into like the Persona 3 and 4, I don't know any of those characters.
See, those are the ones that I would be most interested in.
Right? Yeah. Old Persona. So.
Yeah.
If you have Splatoon 2 and you've not played the Octo expansion pass, you can go and do that now for free if you're an expansion pack member. And on top of that, this week, Nintendo also released 3 brand new Sega Genesis games for the NSO expansion pack as well, including Sonic Spinball, which is one of the best pinball games for those old 60-bit consoles. If you've never played Sonic Spinball, now is your chance to do that. I think Space Harrier 2 is part of that as well, and I can't remember
because it literally launched like an hour before we recorded.
Oh, okay.
But you didn't have a chance to talk about it yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just want you to go play more Genesis games. I think there's seriously though, I think it's a great strategy because here's the thing: like Nintendo putting the Genesis on this, there's a ton of like people who've come back to Nintendo for the Switch. And they were like, maybe they were Nintendo kids as back when the system were first out. And so now they can experience some of these games.
Well, that's kind of me because I didn't have a Genesis. I only had Super Nintendo.
So Shining Force 2, Sonic Spinball, and Space Harrier 2.
I had it for about that same amount too when I traded my Super Nintendo for a Genesis for 2 days.
That's what I'm referring to.
And can I say something that is also probably blasphemous to some people, but I'm going to say it?
Yes.
On the Sega Genesis is one of the best 2D Castlevania games of all time. Castlevania Bloodlines on the Sega Genesis is just as good as Super Castlevania 4. If you haven't played it, it's to coin a phrase, it's hard as balls. And so is Contra Hardcore, which there's no mercy. Because for the Sega Genesis version that came out here in America, no cheat codes. Konami removed them. So you can't even do like the extra life code. And that game will chew you up and spit you out. It's ridiculous. Anyway, you can go check those games out right now. Speaking of games, the next game announced for Jackbox Party Pack 9 is Jesse.
Fibbage.
That was your cue to say the game.
I just did. Fibbage 4.
Fibbage 4. I love Fibbage. I was very excited when I saw this, that we're getting a new version of that. What was the first game announced for Party Pack 9?
Honestly, don't remember. I'll have to look. I think it was a new game, so this is the first sequel,
first retread, kind of. Yeah.
And the commercial, the trailer that they dropped on Friday, it was all over the place, and then until it, like, everyone started saying 4, multiple times in weird ways. And I'm like, where is this going? And all of a sudden, Fibbage 4. I'm like, okay, that makes sense now.
Here it is. Rumerang is the first one. So it's a TV inspired title. I haven't heard much about it, so hopefully it'll be good. Jackbox Party Pack 8 kind of fell flat for me. I was not as impressed with it.
I agree. My family didn't like it as much as previous.
Yeah, we have not actually. The one, the wheel one where you like spin the wheel. I really like that.
Yeah,
it's probably the only one that has like staying power from that pack.
I think I agree with you.
And speaking of that, Jesse, you had previously mentioned the Jackbox Party Starter Pack that's going to be released this summer. It has now been revealed that in their infinite wisdom, which they should have done this, Trivia Murder Party 2.
Called this.
Trivia Murder Party 2 will be part of the Jackbox Party Starter Pack. And again, this is a pack that's coming this summer that has 3 different games. And Trivia Murder Party is perfect for one of these. So I'm going to call this that there's going to be a trivia game. There's going to be like a Quiplash type game. And then there's going to be one that you draw. And it kind of runs the gamut of everything.
I think, didn't they already announce that there was a Quiplash in it? I don't remember.
Ooh.
I think this is the second game they announced, but I don't remember what the first one was.
I'm looking it up. Jackbox Party Starter. It's coming this summer. Everything coming to the Jackbox Party Starter. This was March 24th. Localizing games.
Yeah, so they're adding more languages that didn't exist originally.
Yeah, I don't see the games. I don't see that. So maybe this is the first.
Maybe I'm imagining things that wouldn't be the first time.
That's okay. Oh, TKO will also be part of the Jackbox Party Starter, according to their YouTube channel.
Okay.
And then, apparently they've done all of them.
You and I had
Quiplash 3, Trivia Murder Party 2, and TKO.
Okay, so I was right about Quiplash, and you were right. That's going to be a drawing game. So we both win.
Can we include that in points at the end of the year for predictions? Because my predictions suck so far for this year. I think that counts. I think
we actually had a question about that from our Discord.
Okay.
So
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that later. Yeah.
We'll get to that. It'll be later in the community spotlight. It'll be good. Kirby is now 30 years old. Congratulations, Kirby. You made it to your 30s.
Like he's 30 as well.
Yes. April 27th. So this would be yesterday as of the recording of the show. On April 27th, 1992, Kirby's Dream Land debuted in Japan. And for those of you who don't know, Kirby was named after Nintendo of America lawyer John Kirby because he successfully defended Nintendo's rights to use Donkey Kong versus Universal Studios and King Kong. So we have talked about our favorite Kirby games in the past, including Kirby's latest game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which I think my money is on. That's the best Kirby game since Kirby Superstar. It's really good. It's really, really good. So my question is where does Kirby go from here? Where do we see Nintendo? I noticed this earlier, like on the news section of the Switch, they've even created a logo for Kirby's 30th anniversary, but so far there's been no announcement of anything to celebrate it.
See, I was going to make a joke. Oh, Kirby goes to space. That's what Mario did. But I'm like, he came from there. So
Kirby goes to the country, but he did that because he kind of lives there too. Here's my thing. I don't care where Kirby goes as long as they don't make any more of those horrible drawing games where Kirby's a ball and he follows the line, and you have to loop him around and make him hit stuff. And
it made more sense on the DS, but doing that on the Wii U kind of ruined it.
It wasn't good.
You're stuck watching a 480p screen where, you have these nice 1080p drawn textures on the big screen, but you can't look at the big screen.
Tim, what about you? Where do you think Kirby goes from here?
Do you think that it would work? I don't think they've done this often with Kirby games, if at all. But do you think they could make a sequel or a trilogy out of the Forgotten Lands?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. I think there's some things in this game that are you playing Forgotten Lands?
I did, but it's just like a lot of games. I set them aside because
okay. So I finished it. I've rolled credits, and then there's some post game, and I've done the post game too.
Okay.
Yes, they took the narrative a little bit deeper than they normally do in Kirby games. Yeah. I would love to see more of this story. Like I would love. Okay. I even heard Kit and Krista on their show, which, by the way, I meant to throw this out at the beginning. Kit and Krista mentioned our freaking show on their show.
I noticed that. I mean, I clipped it and put it in the Discord.
So awesome.
And I actually clipped it before you did.
Oh, you did?
As well, and put it in
there. Well, I clipped it too. I just didn't do anything.
We clipped it all over the place.
They're like the gift that keeps on giving.
We were so excited.
They're so excited.
Names. Woo!
Yeah, we exist. But no, they like one of the things that they were talking about, and if you haven't made it here yet, I'm not going to like spoil it for you or anything. But the final boss of the game it's almost Elden Ring-ish.
Yeah,
right.
I think I mentioned this before, but I talked to a friend of mine last month who played both the Kirby game and Elden Ring, and said that the final Kirby boss is more difficult than any boss in Elden Ring.
Yes. It's the only boss in the game that I had serious trouble with. And at the end of the fight, I had a sliver of health left. I mean, it was tough. And I appreciate that. Like, I love that those Kirby games dive into like some pseudo sci-fi-ish, like almost like who was the guy who did Cthulhu? Yeah, I probably pronounced that wrong, but was that, who I'm talking about, right? Like Eldritch Horror and all this stuff,
Lovecraft.
It's like Kirby.
In what?
Like the games and the books.
Okay.
I cannot think of his name.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about.
The author you're talking about.
H.P. Lovecraft. There you go. Thank you. Like Kirby is like bebopping around the countryside, and then 5 levels into the game, H.P. Lovecraft shows up and is like, "Let me drop this
stuff."
This ancient horror on you, and you're like, "What do I do with this?" And hopefully, you've upgraded your abilities enough to kill it. And then, much like Super Mario Odyssey, the final set piece of Kirby and the Forgotten Land is so satisfying. And smile inducing. It's incredible. So you gotta beat the game. You gotta check it out. It's really good. I would love, Tim, that's a long way around to say I want more of that. I want more Forgotten Land.
Well, and I enjoyed what I have played, and I think, and from what I've seen, everybody's got it on their list of top games of the year. So with that being said, for a Kirby game, would that, kind of push Nintendo's hand to try to make the first a sequel to this game, or like Tony Baker said, and I thought about this too, is maybe even using this engine to do a sequel to another game that I liked, which was Planet Robobot.
Oh,
so
best of both worlds there, right?
Yeah,
I would love that.
It could be, Kirby in the Forgotten Land and Robobots.
there was one, and I think it was Kirby Triple Deluxe, where he was able to like power up his abilities. Like there was a time where you like had the sword and it became the flaming sword, and then the giant sword, and like you cut down trees with it and all kinds of stuff. I would like to see the power up or the leveling up of abilities continue. I thought that added a something. Jesse, you don't even play Kirby.
No. Yeah, I've tried in the past and never. I normally get bored in the first 2 levels, so I did play Epic Yarn and like that, and I'm kind of.
Did you
still on
try the
fence.
demo of Forgotten Lands?
No, I didn't. I probably should. But
would you play an Infrendo's version here? Of,
I was going to say
Kirby's Inferno and the 9 Gates of Hell.
Now that's where Kirby meets Elden Ring. Kirby's Inferno. That's probably not getting passed from Nintendo. I will say that I would like to see them do a Game & Watch this year, a Kirby Game & Watch that has like Kirby's Dream Land and possibly Adventure on it, and maybe even Superstar.
That's kind of likely. I think that could possibly happen.
I have a feel maybe that might get revealed at whatever E3 is going to be, since there's not going to be an E3.
At not E3.
Yeah, it's gonna get revealed at Game Fest or whatever that is that Jeff Keighley's doing.
Which one?
Whatever Nintendo does for the summer, it would probably get revealed there. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on here. March NPD results are out from our friend Benji Sales. This is a Biz Justin special here, as it should be. Switch is #1 hardware for the month. Xbox Series whatever SX SEX is number 2, and then PlayStation 5 coming in at number 3, because again, it's a year and some odd change past launch, and you still can't find one. I think from what I'm noticing, I think Xbox has got this solved. I'm starting to see lots of Series S's in stores. I've even seen a Series X or 2 at retail.
I saw them in stores.
I actually saw a Twitter post yesterday saying that they had someplace had S's for sale for under retail. It was like $280 or something.
Wow. From what I've read, and correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody in the chat can correct me or tweet me and tell me I'm wrong later. But I read somewhere that Microsoft has chip priority over Sony, and that's why they're able to do this.
If they threw money at them to make it, then sure. I don't doubt it.
I mean, that's stupid. It's kind of slimy, but
yeah,
I get it.
That's cheating.
It's business.
It is business, and business is often not. As we talked about in the Discord this week with Sonic Origins and Sega delisting all of these Sonic games that are going to be in Origins. Corporations are not your friend. They're there to make money. And we forget that sometimes because Papa Nintendo make everything okay. Right?
Well, sometimes they do stuff that,
Yeah. Like delay the Mario movie.
Nintendo has done that before with Pikmin 3 and Tropical Freeze. When they announced the Switch version, they delisted the Wii U version.
Yep.
I think they brought back Pikmin 3 on the Wii U, but they delisted it for a bit.
Yep. So top 10 selling hardware software for the month of March. Final Fantasy Origin in at 10. Call of Duty Vanguard at 9. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe hanging in there at 8. WWE 2K22 at 7. Pokemon Legends Arceus at 6, which really surprised me. I felt like most of the sales of that would probably be out of the way, as well as
2 months.
Horizon Forbidden West at 5. MLB The Show at 4. Kirby and the Forgotten Land at 3, which is great. Gran Turismo 7 at 2, and of course Elden Ring in at 1 because it's the current flavor of the month.
Kirby game at number 3 is something else, I think.
That's a pretty good debut.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty good month for Kirby, especially since it launched March 25th.
And then here's something I know we ask this every time we see the numbers for it, but hasn't everybody in the world bought a copy of Mario Kart by now?
Apparently
even if
not.
They don't have a Switch, they bought a copy of Mario Kart.
Apparently not. And I want to say this number 8 showing here is born on the wings of DLC.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
That's true.
I think which was that was March 18th. So there's going to be some new purchases. Oh, there's new tracks. So let's go buy. Oh, I lost my copy of Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Now
or now
with these NPD's numbers, Nintendo's is physical only, not digital, but the other systems do include digital purchases.
Okay, so I mean that's kind of impressive too for Kirby being all physical. So there you go. Speaking of not E3, the first presentations have been scheduled for that Xbox and Bethesda Games showcase, meaning they will showcase together. Will be June 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern. I believe that,
Sunday.
It's Sunday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I believe that there will be others that fall in line behind that, taking that typical E3 week to go ahead and do stuff, which means that we should see Nintendo's presentation on June 14th, sometime in the morning of June 14th, because they usually go on Tuesday.
Yeah, they normally go at 9 Pacific, so that'd be noon Eastern.
So you know that, like, even though E3 is not happening this year and they say they're coming back next year and blah, 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 all this stuff was lined up. If you go back and listen to, and again, I don't want to refer to them too much, but if you go back and listen to Kit and Krista's podcast about the cursed E3 moment where Kit got stranded just staring at the screen.
Yes.
With the during the Amiibo thing, they talked about how far in advance E3 stuff has to be scheduled and planned.
Yeah.
So if anything was being done for E3, it's still on the book for Nintendo. They'll just do it themselves. They'll just make an announcement and be like, "Hey, here it is." And honestly, that's probably what'll happen. Like a day before, they'll be like, "Hey, kid, you want to hear about some Nintendo games? Well, show up tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll tell you about some Nintendo games. It'll be great. It'll be awesome."
They'll announce it the same day the Microsoft show is, just to kind of steal some of their thunder.
They probably will. Sunday afternoon, there'll be a tweet being like, "Hey, so you like Xbox, huh? What about Nintendo games?
Come watch us.
Watch our hey, kid.
Yeah,
we're playing that Halo."
Xbox Drive people already reached out to me asking if we were going to do anything in terms of a reaction. I said, well, none of us have thought about it yet. If you want to go ahead and drive
we're not that far ahead yet.
Yeah. So, they literally announced it like 3 hours before I was asked this question.
If somebody asked me, are you going to react to Nintendo showing at E3? I'm going to be like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to react to it, but I don't know if I'm going to be like on the screen or anything.
Well, so it sounds like that they're going to get a reaction stream set up, and I said I'm willing to guest if they
got room. I'd love to come hang out too. So
yeah, I want to see all the games I'm going to download on Game Pass and not pay for it. It'd be great.
and then not play.
Yeah, that's right. Like Tunic, which has been sitting on my Xbox for weeks, and a little fox is just lost in the woods crying, and I'm like, let me play some more Fortnite. Speaking also of game releases, Disney Speedstorm, which is a free-to-play racer featuring Disney characters racing race cars. It's Mario Kart, guys.
This has me worried.
Yeah, it's coming this summer.
It's a Mario Kart cross between Asphalt, because it's Gameloft who's making it. So
yeah, now here's the thing. I'm going to withhold judgment until I play it.
Yes. Okay.
I'm going to withhold judgment until I play it, because actually I like some of the designs. They look pretty good, but you can go ahead and go pre-register for this right now at DisneySpeedstorm.com, which means I guess you can get a notification when it's live.
Yep, I signed up
for you. But something we missed in the notes that I wanted to bring up is Disney Dreamlight Valley, which was announced this week, which is an Animal Crossing / Sims style game that is apparently coming to Switch when it launches sometime this year, where you can make a village of your own and live with Disney villains and heroes and do tasks for them.
That's free to play as well, isn't it?
Sounds very much like Animal Crossing. And to be honest, I will probably play this because I love Disney. And if there's any Star Wars or Marvel involved,
yes,
then I will.
Yeah, I'm going to be trying out all that stuff myself.
Yeah,
and then Friendo asked, will my Disney Infinity characters unlock race suits like Mario Kart?
Yes. What you do is you take a blender, You put your Disney Infinity figure in there, pour in some milk and some coconut oil, blend it up, drink it, and then that's when you get the character suit and also a trip to the emergency room.
Please don't do this. So we don't want to get sued.
Yeah, no.
Because Marty told you that. Please don't do that.
please don't do that.
Well, at least
Marty said to do this.
I waive all liability.
At least these are both free to play games, so
Yeah.
you can again you can have an expectation of gross monetization, unlike Chocobo GP that wants you to pay $50 to get monetized.
How dare you bring that game up? How dare you bring that memory up in my head?
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, you're going to be paying to race as Baloo in there. If you want him in his like Jungle Book costume,
That's not a
definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be like 15,000 Diz coins or whatever, that you have to drive through in a race, and you only have 2 per track, and whoever gets them first gets them.
I like how Gameloft monetizes Asphalt 9, because I really like that game, and I was able to play that for the most part for free, and it was my choice to buy some of the things I wanted to buy there. So
That's what they make you think.
Well, it's true.
Your choice.
Well, they got me fooled then. So, but because I really enjoyed the game. So, and
Tim,
I made the choice.
What Tim doesn't hear is that when he gets in the speed storm, it's going to have like subliminal messaging, like Ariel singing in the background. And it's going to spend some money.
See all this stuff behind me? See all this stuff? I'm going to be selling it just so I could, take care of my,
you've got to
speed storm.
Obviously, you've got to unlock the solid gold Mickey Mouse racer, cart, wheels.
I will tell you
fins, doors, all that, so everybody can know how big a fan
over
you
there
are.
Next to Darth Vader and the stuff you can't see, all the Star Wars stuff, all the Disney stuff I have over there that I am a fan of. And if any of those things are in these games, I will get them some way, somehow.
I can't wait to watch you have an absolute meltdown the first time that Luke Skywalker becomes a playable character.
No, it'd be Darth Vader. If Darth Vader is playable, or I can get a Darth Vader costume
to unlock.
I'm gonna be.
Well, you do know that Darth Vader's coming to Fortnite.
Wasn't he there already?
Well, the Saber was in already, but he's coming as a playable character. Kylo Ren was in for the new Rey and
Darth Vader is there again, then I'll probably be back in Fortnite.
Vader's coming, and he wants your money.
Yep.
Darth Mustard wants your money.
That's how they're fundraising the new Death Star.
Anything from Sorcerer Mickey wise too, if that's in there, I'll be wanting that. So
Death Star 3 building slogan. There's no exhaust port this time, really. Everything has an exhaust port. Splatoon 3 also.
Nintendo says he thinks he broke his blender when he threw in Boba Fett and Elsa.
Yeah, Elsa Fett. That's the name of that drink.
He's gonna be coming at us, be like, we have to buy him a new blender now. So
if you blend those two together, you get interesting new songs like "Love Is an Open Sarlacc Mouth."
Probably cheaper than buying him a new Elsa.
That's true. Also this week, Splatoon 3 got a release date. September 9th is going to be Splatoon 3, which I guess is still the summer in September. I don't know. They say it is.
Kids go back to school. That's fall to me.
The calendar
says
it is.
they say it is. It's not. May, June, July. That's summer.
August.
Nah,
I include August.
That's fall. August is fall. August,
You're
September,
crazy.
October.
August
fall.
is hot, man. What the heck are you talking about?
Listen. It's hot 10 out of 12 months here in the South. So do we just have a 10-month summer? No.
Yes, you do.
No, you have to draw the line somewhere. Tim, you have to draw the line somewhere. You have to draw the line somewhere, and you decide when fall is, not by the temperature, but by the date on the calendar. I will accept September, October, November as fall.
See, I live in Michigan where winter is 9 months out of the year.
Well, you and I should trade places. You and I should trade places because I'm tired of sweating. And speaking of sweating in inappropriate places, that's the end of our news. And it's time for an ad break from our sponsor, Manscaped.
All right, guys. Have you guys started spring cleaning yet? You know, speaking of the seasons, have you guys started any spring cleaning? And you can answer that question, you know.
No. I wasn't sure if that was just rhetorical and part of the script that you were reading. Or...
I'll be starting spring cleaning because we have a garage sale coming up at the end of May. But there's other spring cleaning that you can do too. And that is when the carpets need cleaning, the drapes need dusting, and your lawn needs mowing. Spring is sprung, and the global leaders in below the waist grooming have best tools for cleaning aisle 5 in your pants. Clean up in aisle 5. Time to clear out your winter bush and join the other 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code NINDADS, NINDADS. Manscaped has the full package you need for spring cleaning this year. The Performance Package 4.0 is the only tool you need to keep your boys looking and smelling like the fresh tulips your partner wants. To start off your spring cleaning, use the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer to get the most precise shave on your hedges. Did we mention that it's waterproof as well? No need to worry about watering your grass with this tool. Equipped with a LED light, so you know it'll be a major asset to the new shower routine. We've talked about the routine before, but we don't have to go about that again. Everybody's got their own kind of routine that you do in the bathroom, but make this a part of your routine to make your below the belt area happy as well as your partner happy. So with that, again, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code NINDADS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus the free shipping with that code NINDADS at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life.
Yep. I want to thank Manscaped for sponsoring the show. And remember, you can get 20% off by going over to manscaped.com and using that code NINDADS, NINDADS, and free shipping too on anything you buy. It's time to talk about some rumors. So hit that music. So rumors leaked this week from Brick Fanatics about a new 18 plus Lego plus Nintendo Super Mario set that could be released October the 1st, 2022. This is a pretty big deal because Lego's collaborations with Nintendo, as far as the collector front, not just the Super Mario line, but on the collector front with the Question Block and the NES Lego that I'm looking at right over here, have been pretty epic. Yes. And it's got me wondering, what do you think it could be? What do you want it to be? I love Lego. I love putting things together. I have my own theories. I want to ask you guys, what do you think we're getting?
Well, do you think that I think they might, as much as you might want Super Mario 2 in Lego form, I think they might skip it because Mario 2 is only what, US? I'm not sure if it's UK, but it's just mainly US.
It was outside of Japan. It was Mario 2.
Okay. So, but I think more hype was Mario 3. So I think that if we got something in regard to Mario 3, I think that would be really cool.
Can I tell you what I think it is?
Sure.
I think it's a set that was based on the Mario movie.
Oh.
I really do. And I think it's going to get bumped. I think this is going to move.
Like a Peach's Castle representation.
I think this was a Mario movie set that was like a preview thing. Because, sets usually come out for movies like before they hit the theater.
Yeah.
So if this could be like some kind of big, like, diorama, and I've noticed something that Lego's doing right now is they're doing a lot of dioramas, especially for Star Wars
ones.
I know,
so cool.
I am trying to find room here in my office, which I don't have. I don't have any more room in this
Right.
room for anything. But man, that Death Star trench run diorama,
Yes, sir.
so good. It's so good, and I'm gonna buy it and build it, and then go, oh, I mean, where to put it? And then anyway, I'll probably sell. I'm actually thinking about selling some of my Lego movie sets that I have, the bigger ones, to fund the purchase of the diorama and space. Jesse, you got any idea what this could be?
When I first heard this, I thought of maybe they might do a Super Nintendo type of thing, similar to the NES one.
I would love that. I would so get that if they do that.
You know, here's the thing though. The problem that they run into with that is the NES looked the same everywhere except outside of Japan, not the Super Nintendo.
Oh, that's right.
You would have to have the Super Nintendo European or Famicom version and the American one, or the one that was in all the other territories.
Maybe they'll jump to N64 then. That was the same everywhere.
Pipe dream that I would love is a Lego Game Boy.
That would be cool.
A Lego Game Boy done right.
I would do that one.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I saw an article about it, so I looked it up, and I did. And it turns out I did. There's going to be one for a Lego set for a model of the Atari 2600.
Oh yes,
to celebrate its 50th anniversary.
I did see that too. That article. Yep.
Too bad that will also not be. There will not also be a Lego set of the Atari VCS someday.
I still have one of those underneath my table that I haven't touched since last year.
Or the Amico. It's probably not getting
television. Instead of launching the real one, they launch a Lego.
It's just everybody gets a Lego set.
Lego Amico.
Amico.
Yes.
That would not be good. That would not be good at all. But yeah, so this is out there. Lego is known like that October 1st placeholder is actually pretty close to when they normally release new sets. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and what comes out. They're definitely going to do another Nintendo set because those other two have sold so well.
Right. Yeah.
And been so cool. They're definitely going to continue that partnership. So check that out as it comes down the pike. Let's talk about a release that's coming out tomorrow, shall we? So as we're recording this, tomorrow is April 29th, which means that is the day of the release of Nintendo Switch Sports, which is the spiritual successor, or really, if you want to call it direct successor, to Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. Reviews of this have already started to come in. A lot of them are favorable, and we'll be giving you our impressions as well on next week's show. But some of those reviews have mentioned some things like how limited Switch Sports is and how they'd love to see more modes. And I even watched IGN's review said that once you've played it for about an hour, you've done everything you can do. So the question we want to talk about is, can this replicate the success of Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort? And I want to pose that question to you guys. What do you think?
I think it has the potential there, especially if marketed well, and could also boost the sales of the Switch for those fans of those games who probably still have their Wiis mainly, and maybe even Wii U's, but have their Wiis to play Wii Sports and kept it for those games and to for get-togethers or whatever, for the older community and all that kind of stuff. So I could see probably boosting sales in the Switch, and also because of this game, especially if they do a bundle for the holidays.
Honestly, a bundle is, to me, is going to be the thing that's going to be what's going to push this. If they come out swinging in November and it's the Nintendo Switch Sports bundle, and they pack the leg strap in with it,
yes,
I don't see how that doesn't sell.
Right. Yep.
So
Maybe some extra Joy-Cons for multiplayer.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about with it is if, you know, the reviewer, the review I watched said that it was more of a party game, which, you know, if you think about Wii Sports was more of a party game, right?
Yeah.
Motion control was such a huge thing back then. And I think it's part of the reason that it captured the audience that it did so quickly. This was this brand new thing, brand new way of controlling games. It was motion control and tracking that actually worked most of the time. I worry about them recreating that success. It was like Wii Sports was lightning in a bottle. But the reason it was lightning in a bottle is exactly what you just mentioned. It was a pack-in. You could buy the system and you could get this amazing, fun, easy to pick up game right out of the package and play immediately. But now we've got Switch, and yeah, it's got a huge install base, but along comes this Switch Sports almost 6 years into the life cycle, right? Or 5 years. We just passed 5 years, creeping up, you know, we're heading towards 6. I don't see it selling as much.
Yeah, and since Nintendo counts bundles as when they talk about their game sales, you know, they say, "Oh yeah, we sold 80 million copies of this game."
Yeah.
So you know that's you know kind of not really fair, but yeah, they did, but they weren't individual. Yeah, I agree. You know, the original game really focused on the local multiplayer, and I think if people buy this thinking they're going to play it by themselves and play it online, I don't think they're going to have as much fun as if they played it like a party game, as you said.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing what, like if I don't play this with my family, right? Then what am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
I know that sounds harsh. It's like
the biggest thing is trying to get to those people who have those Wiis and they want them to upgrade to the Switch with this game. How are they going to do that? Because those people aren't in our channels, essentially. Understanding when things like this drop, they hear from it because of somebody else who brings it to their house or something and says, "Hey, look, you know how you got Wii Sports? Look, they came out with this one for my Switch that I carry around with me all the time." You know, so maybe some of those people already have it. You never know, but I agree with you guys. Will it replicate the same numbers? Probably not. But I think they could probably still capture, if done well and marketed right, they could probably capture a good chunk of it.
I think there still might be confusion if people wanting to play this on their Switch Lites. You know,
that's a great point.
Yes, it still can be played, but you still need external Joy-Con to play them.
Yeah.
And that's a great point. I mean, you've got a ton of people out there with a Switch Lite. And is this is gonna be the thing that's gonna be like the kryptonite of the Switch Lite? I mean, because who's gonna turn people away like from buying it? You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, you go to Walmart and mom and dad walk in, "Hey, we like one copy of Nintendo Switch Sports." They take it home, they give it to their kid, and all they've got is a Switch Lite.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a tough sell.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's almost like they should have put a banner across the top of the box. I know people are all about Nintendo not putting the banners there, you know everything, but like for Nintendo Switch, not for Nintendo Switch Lite.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hook up Joy-Cons, but who's going to do that? The screen is this big.
Yeah, right. It's meant to be played with the multiple Joy-Cons and a TV.
Yep.
You know, so not necessarily tabletop mode. You could, but better on the TV.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So
absolutely. So it's gonna be interesting to see a week from now what the reception has been. And if it's going to have the staying power of Wii Sports. I mean, I remember when they released the updated Wii Sports Resort or whatever on Switch. I mean, on a Wii U, which is like the Wii Sports Plus.
Yeah, the one where you could subscribe to it and get the different games. And stuff.
Like I was so excited about that because I love the bowling and I loved, a couple of those. It's going to be interesting to see. I think the online mode, if it takes off, could be a viable contender, especially the bowling, like the bowling battle royale. That was a lot of fun when the test fire was going. I guess we can talk about it now.
I remember liking the 100-pin mode better than the normal play. So
100-pin mode was super fun. I enjoyed that.
That's not there.
I think that they've replaced that with like the trick shot mode thing, where it's like you have ramps and gaps and stuff. It's going to be interesting to see. I think some of these modes will probably come later on.
Yeah,
like maybe we'll get a 100-pin mode.
Is seeing the things they add on over time and all that kind of stuff.
Golf. The fact that golf is coming doesn't set my world on fire. Like with having Mario Golf out there, that's already way more capable than what this golf is going to be. Why even bother? Do new sports. Do something that we can't get in another game.
Football.
You have to put the shoulder. You have to get the ring con and.
That'd be interesting.
Should be like weightlifting or like wrestling. I don't know.
Archery.
Yeah, there you go.
You say that, but I think that could be a very viable way that they did archery.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We'll see how it goes. Let's talk about some events. Tim, why don't you tell us about what's going on this month with the dinner table?
Sure. So, reminder to everybody, all our subscribers and those who are thinking about it or on the fence, you can come join the dinner table, which is every third Friday of the month, where the community and I get together, and the other Nintendo dads pop in every once in a while. Basically, we get together as a community and talk about what's going on in the gaming world, TV world, movie world, books, whatever. We talk about it, whatever we want to talk about. It's no longer posted as a podcast anymore because it's more freeing that way for the community to just be able to chit chat and not have to worry about saying something that might offend anybody that's listening or anything like that. Not saying we're raunchy or anything like that. I'm just saying it's, people can be more open and comfortable in the discussions. So we have a lot of fun with that.
Conversations tend to get a little more personal.
Yes, and especially because of that, because it's kind of therapeutic in a way, for all of us dads to be able to have a place to come talk about things, even those fun things I talked about. There's been times where we talked about, kids or, something going on in the world that we talk about or whatever, and get off our chest or whatever. So
think about it as you're like a virtual watering hole.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but yeah, every third Friday of the month, you can get in if you're a subscriber to Twitch or in our Patreon for just $1 or more. You can come join us every third Friday, and the topics are pretty wide open. Every now and then I'll bring a main dish to where we can talk about. In fact, there's one I've been thinking about that I think we got a question about, that I was like looking at that question and I'm like, you know what? I think maybe we'll talk about that more in the dinner table. So when we get to that question, I'll try to remember to mention that's what we'll be talking about, the dinner table. So
excellent.
With that, again, every third Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern time is when we do it. So you could just come join us in the voice chat in Discord on those dates and times. So that's it.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Speaking of events, did any of you guys pick up Tetris 99 over the weekend and do the Kirby and the Forgotten Land theme?
Oh, I did. And I almost stopped halfway through because I got better than top 50 twice. So, I had to grind like half hour to an hour longer than I normally do. And I think I got into yeah, that song that they played in the bottom 50, I didn't like that song. And like when it busted into its chorus, it reminded me of like I don't remember which show, but there was an 80s sitcom that the theme sounded a lot like that. And someone in the chat or in comments are going to tell me what I'm talking about because they're going to remember it. But that's the only thing I thought of when I heard the chorus is this is a theme from a sitcom I remember when I was a kid.
I regret that I didn't get to do it. I was on the cruise during that whole thing. So by the time I got home, I was just like, I don't have any time to do this. And so I missed it.
Yeah,
it's
Perfect
the only
Strangers. Yes. Yes.
Yep. It's the only Tetris what do you call those things?
Maximus Cup?
Yeah, it's the only one I missed. So I guess I'll be able to buy it later, but it just sucks that I'm gonna have to spend the tickets on that and not something else.
Yeah, so I know I missed a few. And the two previous Kirby ones you can buy for a ticket. I had one natively, I bought the other one. And then looking at the numbers of how they titled each theme, I think I'm missing 4 out of the 32 ish. Okay. That's after buying the one that I previously missed.
Yeah, I got to go back and I wish that they would like announce those more than like 2 days before they start. That one it was like, hey, there's going to be a Kirby Maximus Cup. It's in 2 days.
So the theme that started playing once you get to the top 50, I liked that. It actually sounded like a Kirby song, but the first song I did not like. And that's all I've heard for 2 hours.
Was it the one with lyrics?
The first song.
Yeah, so there's that like if you play the demo, it doesn't do that because the demo ends where they play that song in the game. And it's like Kirby driving around as the car, and it's almost like the beginning of a sitcom. It's very anime. It's like the beginning of an OVA. It's like, oh, there's a theme for this. Now that's kind of Maury. But it also kind of sounded like that too. Anyway, before we get too into the weeds on this, it's time for Jesse's PokéMinute.
Pikachu! I hate you all.
Okay, this one's actually going to be a pretty big one. So, first, Mega Evolutions in Pokemon Go gets revamped. It actually launched in North America today, but it was live in Australia and New Zealand earlier this week, kind of a pilot. Most Mega Raids will be easier and can be completed with fewer people. You can Mega Evolve your Pokemon from the raid and battle prep screens now. Pokemon you've Mega Evolved before will now have an additional visual effect added to their information page. Okay, this game will introduce Mega Levels. Every time you Mega Evolve a Pokemon, you work toward increasing its Mega Level. You get more bonuses every time a Pokemon's Mega Level goes up, and it'll stay active while the Pokemon is in its Mega Evolved form. Mega Evolution will become a one-time cost. After a Pokemon has Mega Evolved, you can do so again with no additional Mega Energy costs. Before, it was like 200 to first evolve it, and then like down to 40 the second time. Now the second and subsequent will be free. After Mega Evolving, your Pokemon will be fatigued and need time before it can Mega Evolve again. Once the rest period is over, you can Mega Evolve it without using additional energy. You can Mega Evolve a Pokemon during this rest state at a cost of Mega Energy. The more time needed to rest will require more energy to be spent. The higher the Mega level, the shorter the rest time will be. May's Community Day will be featuring a Alolan Geodude. If you evolve an Alolan Graveler before 4 p.m. to get an Alolan Golem, it will know the new move Fast Attack rollout. The Community Day special research story, A Rocky Road, will be available for trainers to purchase for $1. Bonuses during the event that will be active is 3 times to catch Stardust, 2 times to catch Candy, 2 times chance to receive GLXL Candy if you're over level 40. Lure modules and incense will be active for 3 hours trades will require 50% less Stardust. This will be on Saturday, May 21st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time. That is a time change over what previous community days have been. And then finally, what the other day, Niantic announced information on Pokemon Go Fest 2022. It'll be a 2-day event. The first day is Saturday, June 4th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The first day will feature 4 rotating habitat hours where different Pokemon will appear during each hour. A free Pokemon Go Fest 2022 T Avatar item will be available in the in-game shop. For the first time, you'll be able to encounter shiny versions of Shroomish, Numel, Carablast, Axew, and Shelmet. The 4 habitats will be City, Plains, Rainforest, and Tundra. Trainers who purchase a GoFest 2022 ticket for $14.99 will get special research to learn more about the mythical Pokemon Shaman and earn an encounter with its land form. Trainers will be able to choose between relaxed, standard, or master difficulty levels for special research to get different stickers as rewards. And trainers will be able to choose how the gameplay will be focused, either catch, explore, or battle. Special research tasks will change accordingly. Trainers with a ticket will be able to encounter unknown B, G, O, and U with a chance for it to be shiny. And 4 collection challenges will be available, each themed around a habitat. Day 2 will be Sunday, June 5th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. A certain to-be-announced Pokemon will make its Pokemon Go debut in 5-star raids. A short special research story will be available to trainers who log in during the event. All Pokemon who were spawning on Saturday will continue to spawn all day Sunday. Ticket holders will be able to access an additional special research story available after completing the short special research story that will be available to all trainers. And Team Go rocket balloons will appear more frequently, with grunts dropping twice the mysterious components when defeated. And there'll be a finale day on Saturday, August 27th. It'll feature a new special research story, exciting Pokemon encounters, and more. Trainers who purchased the $14.99 ticket will have access to this for no additional charge. Trainers who did not purchase the previous ticket can buy into this day's events for $10.99.
That's a big markup.
They want that Poké money.
Yeah.
So question though, is there been any speculation of what that certain Pokemon will be that will make its debut?
I don't know. I
Arceus.
Arceus isn't in the game yet. So that's definitely a possibility. It'll likely be something with the Alola region. I haven't looked to see which larger, 5-star worthy Pokemon would be haven't shown up yet. I know they're going.
It's business, Justin.
They're cycling. They're cycling through the Island Guardians right now. I think they've had 3 of them, but the 4th one probably will be coming up in a week or 2.
If there's somebody out there listening to us, since he's not on the show, I can do this. If there's somebody out there listening to us, and you would like to do, if you could do, and you're of the artistic bent, if you could do one of those, who's that Pokemon, screens like from the old show.
Yeah.
If you could do that and make a Pokemon out of business, Justin, we'll put that on a t-shirt and we'll give you one for free.
Nice.
Unless Nintendo just, nukes the t-shirt company from above, like it has all our other shirts. Anyway, But seriously, we will. Business Justin as a Pokemon. Go. That's your assignment. Puffet. Yeah. If you could do like a Wobble Puffet in a suit with Justin's face. Yes, that's it. Go, my minions. While you're doing that, let's talk about what we've been playing. So since Justin's not here, again, we can have a little fun. And he sent in his impressions of a game he's been playing called BugSnax, talking about BugSnax. And he just said, do a Justin impression. So we did. Here it is.
This is RoboKid Justin to read Justin's initial impressions of Boot BugSnax. Pros. Fantastic voiceover, fun to play with family, has Pokemon Snap elements, fun puzzle elements to catch creatures, interesting story, lots of BugSnax to capture, really enjoyed the design UI, journal entry with pictures and notes. Cons. Long loading screen times, the gameplay loop can be repetitive, catch a certain amount of bugs, feed bugs to NPC. Overall I really enjoyed BugSnax and would recommend it. Note, I did not get to the Isle of Big Snacks yet. Also, check out the first look is on our YouTube channel.
All right. Thanks, you,
RoboKid Justin.
Yeah, thanks, RoboKid Justin. I thought this was a spot on impression of Justin. I love it. Tim, why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
Sure. I love RoboKid Justin. It's so great. Anyways,
there's going to be robots of all of us by the end.
I'm sure there will
it's
be.
Happening.
It's going to take over the show. There'll be a whole episode of just Robo us.
Blowing our 400th episode, Tim. God.
All right. We're going to be the special, our actual selves will be the special come in and read something of the episode. Anyways, I played ToeJam Earl on the Genesis NSO app. I got to experience that because of the Retro Rewind game. It was a Retro Rewind game for April. And the Retro Logic crew and John put that together, and like I said before, I have not played Genesis games before other than, whatever my friend had, because he had a Genesis, and then, slightly trying out Sonic or whatever. So
what'd you think?
I thought it was pretty good, but the thing was, and I mentioned this because we did a recording of our thoughts about the game and stuff like that. So it was myself, Wondrous Will from the NINDADS, Adam from the Retro Groove podcast that they have over there at Retro Logic, and then of course John, That Fast John. We all got together and talked about our experiences with ToeJam Earl, and my experiences were, I had no experiences before, so this was all new to me. Where the other guys, they played it before when they were younger, so it was very nostalgic for them. So my experience was, or actually Wondrous Will, I think it was the first time he played it too, now that I think of it, where Wondrous Will got through it and he actually played to completion. I did not, because I didn't read the manual, because I forgot about games back in that day where you had to read the manual to understand what certain characters do, what certain characters you stay away from and ones you go to, things like that, and get a better understanding of the game. So it was a pretty hilarious conversation there in that regard, to kind of tell my experience of thinking I could go into the game, which I actually did, to say the least, go into the game and think it would be intuitive. But it did take me back to the days when, you would go and maybe try a game first before reading the manual. And then if you couldn't figure something out, then you go to the manual. Or if you're one of those kids that bought the game and you're in the back seat and you rip open the package, you read the manual on the way home, then you got, that type of effect. But I enjoyed my time with ToeJam Earl. I did not go back to it because of my frustration with the game of not understanding certain components. I did read the manual afterwards, and I was like, okay, this would have been beneficial to know going into the game. Like, an example was, going to find ship parts in ToeJam Earl, and then understanding that when you go to Earth, it's not just you're not on a round planet, you're in actually planes, and they change. So that was actually pretty impressive, that it was a game back in the day, 16-bit game that was, what do you call it? I forget the word, but it automatically generates. It is roguelike, but
it was a roguelike.
Also automatically generates something different every time. So there's a term for it. I can't remember it, but yeah, definitely roguelike. And some of the presents that I opened, because you go throughout the board and find presents, and you don't know what's in those presents, not only could help you, but also could kill you. So, and I had a present kill me because it electrocuted me, and then I turned into a ghost and died. So I lost a life. But
I think what you're looking for there is procedurally generated.
Thank you. Procedurally generated. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. So I did enjoy my experience and getting to understand that game from our past video game history. So, and there may be a time where I will go back in, and Wondrous Will even offered to join me online for 2-player co-op mode to try the game out, because that's what the game was really meant for, was local 2-player. So, but being that we had the online component, we were going to give that a go, because neither of us had the ability to play the 2-player game part of it. So, which Marty, I brought you up because you were the last time you were on and talking about Lego Star Wars, and your frustration that the new one does not take you into the same screen when you're playing 2-player. It's constantly just split screen. Where
it can be kind of jarring after a while. Like if you've been playing, and it leads to some weird camera angles and eye strain.
Well, I brought that up because I said that even the 16-bit game does what you're looking for, that this new Lego game does not do, which is if you're in the same vicinity, you're all in one screen. And then when you break away from each other, then it goes in the split screen mode in the 16-bit ToeJam and Earl game. So even back then they were doing that kind of stuff. So there's some pretty cool stuff that was brought out in that game, and I think everybody should at least give that a try. But I would say read the manual. There's also some cheats and some really cool things that I learned about the game that you could go watch their podcast about, or listen to the podcast and learn about, or just look it up and find out some of the hidden things that are in the game that are pretty cool, that when I'm in the mood, I think I might go back and give it a go. So, because I want to try.
I would encourage you to. I think it's still a game that holds up pretty well from the 16-bit era.
It does.
It's one of my favorite Genesis games. Just because it's
agree.
So weird.
It is
but
fun.
Because,
and you'd benefit from understanding how the game plays before you go.
Because of that procedural generation type gameplay, you can happen on a really good run of it and just, knock it out of the park. Or which I've never been able to beat the game, because I would go and play it, and like as you described, it's go to the level, get presents. You don't know what they are until you open them. So hopefully you open the good stuff, and hopefully there's a ship part on that world, on that
plane,
that level on that plane. But I would go for like I would get a couple of ship parts, and I remember one time playing it where I got like almost all of them, and then went for 7 levels with no ship parts.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
What in the crap's going on? And that's just the game. Like it's not broken, it's not glitching. It's just that's the game. That's the way it's meant to be played. And turns out what you had to do was go up to this part of this plane and jump off and land in another part of the plane below you that you weren't able to get to yet. And lo and behold, there's a ship part there.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Sometimes it's frustrating, but it is fun to play 2-player.
And again, it was for that time, it's pretty impressive what that game did, and what you could do in that game, and the strategy behind some of the things you would do in that game. So, I mean, just going in at first, you could not know there's some strategy there. But when you start talking to people who played it many times, like I did, there's strategy there. So really cool. And I encourage everybody to go check out retrologic.games and look for that podcast there if you don't already have it added to your feed. And take a listen to those guys talk about it, which is really cool. A couple other games I've been playing that I can get through really quick, and that is Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. I enjoy going back into that because it's just simple, good old hack and slash type, game for me. Plus it's Star Wars, and I feel so freaking powerful in that game as Starkiller. It's so much fun. So I like going back in there every once in a while. When I need a break from playing Legend of the Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I'm still playing. I'm on to my third Divine Beast. Just recently, I'm in Death Mountain area. What is that? The Gordons or something like that.
Yeah, Goron.
Thanks. And yeah, talking to them, getting ready to fight that Divine Beast. So on my way to take care of that. And then after that, probably mess around a little bit more. And I do have one more area of the map I have to unlock when I go to the fourth Divine Beast, and then we'll get even closer to getting that game done, so you guys can have Breath of the Wild too. Because remember, if I beat the game, then it'll come out. So
that's what we're waiting on. just waiting on you.
Yes. So
when you get your crap together.
Well, they got to stop bringing out all these games and doing all these other games for me to try. So but that's what I've been playing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Jesse, what have you been playing?
I continued Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers edition. I got to another point where, I found a boss, I couldn't beat it, and, lost like 45 minutes of progress because there was no save points between there and the last one I had. And what really frustrated me is there was a save point on the map that I couldn't access yet because I had to get through that boss. And at this point, the team that I had got reshuffled. Kid got sick and got another lanky boy to join my party, and he is just kind of garbage. So I didn't have find a good way to use that party in battle yet, and I'm like, I think I'm going to stop here. I am not. It felt like I'm fighting the game instead of playing the game. It wasn't as fun. So that was about 8 to 10 hours in. For people who have played it, they probably know what I'm talking about. Okay, then I played more Mario Golf. Part of the monthly mayhem. I still I did week 1. It took me like 4 days to finally play it to beat the course, because after 2 or 3 holes I would get frustrated and kill it. And I ended up scoring like kind of right in the middle of the pack. There's like 9 of us. I got dead middle, 5th place. This week's challenge is the first mini golf event. I did play through that once and saved a score, but I haven't submitted it yet. I'm waiting till I can try to play through it again. I did have a good early run, but then I decided, ooh, there's a shortcut here. Let's see if I can do it. And I got out of bounds 3 times. I'm like, okay, I just killed that run.
Oh man, that sucks.
So I aborted. So I'm gonna have to try again. So I'll still try to play one more time, and then I'll probably tomorrow, and then I'll submit my best score. And then finally, I'm in preparation for going out of town in a few weeks. I decided I remembered, oh yeah, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster games I bought on Steam. I have a laptop that I can install Steam on and install the games there. So I installed all 6 games, and I launched the first game just to make sure I could get it to work. So I literally dusted off, because I haven't touched this controller in over a year, my old Luna controller, and paired it to my laptop and started playing Final Fantasy 1, and I kind of digging it again. I remember last time I tried playing Final Fantasy 1, I got like 3 or 4 hours in, got into a cave where like difficulty spiked up. I think I was playing the GBA version of this at the time. I did not mod it for the better fonts. I was just using the canned ones. But I did have a little bit of trouble still in that same cave, but it didn't have as much difficulty. And I by the time I finished the cave, I felt like I was overpowered, and that just continued throughout the rest of the game. The whole game seemed easy to me, with the exception of some of the bosses I struggled with, but I never got a game over. In fact, the first boss, I think it was Lich. Uh, I did my normal plan to do damage to it. It then did like magic damage to all my party, knocked two of them out, leaving like my magic user. It's the only two things that are standing. And so I said, okay, attack with it, because it's, my white mage doesn't have any attack spells, so all it can do is use its the wand physically. It did 2 damage. So I'm like, okay, this game, I'm likely going to die here. So do it again, 2 damage again, and killed it.
Wow.
So I was 3 or 4 hit points away from killing it when it almost wiped my party.
Wow.
That was the closest I ever got. That and the final boss was the closest I ever got to
getting the game over.
To getting a game over. So I did finish it this afternoon. The whole game was under 15 hours. I forgot how fast that game can be once you get going. I did have to go to a walkthrough to remember where I needed to go next once I finished the next dungeon.
A 15-hour Final Fantasy game? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, again, this is a newly balanced version. I bet you probably can't do that without breaking this glitch, using glitches and whatnot in the original.
Gotcha.
And I still don't like the magic system they use, where you can use 5 level 1 spells and 3 level 2 spells and 1 level 3 spell.
Yeah,
I never liked that. I liked, eventually when they evolved into just the MP system, that I can use whatever spell I want, knowing that the cost goes up the stronger the spell. One thing I did forget about this game is, before you have a chance to even go for the 4 fiends, is the game's one big fetch quest. You gotta like pick up and drop off like 5 different items before you can actually start getting to the plot. And the one thing that surprised me is the last weapon I got. I don't remember what it was called. In the final dungeon, it's equipable by everybody. So I was able to equip it to my black wizard, and he was doing as much damage as my monk master and my fighter knight at the end.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a fun game. So I have these games on my laptop so I can play them when I'm out of town in a few weeks. I'll try playing 2 again. I've played 2 in the past, got to the final boss, but couldn't get past it, because in that game you level up your skills by using the skills instead of just stat based by leveling. So I never use defense spells. So my defense spells were still level 1 at the final boss, and I would do damage to the final boss, and then that boss would do 1 big attack on my party. Wouldn't kill the party, but that attack is a drain. So he heals himself for the damage that he caused me.
Okay.
So this was an infinite loop at this point, because I didn't have defense spells to lower the damage to me, which would then in turn lower his healing.
Gotcha.
So I know I need to do that again. So when I play through, I don't know if I'll play through it, but I'll at least give 2 another start in the next week or so, and see how long that lasts. I was able to get
interesting.
Yeah, so I got all but 3 achievements on Steam. One of which is get all the other achievements. So get One is solve the 15 slider puzzle, which I completely forgot about. I have to look up on how to access it. Like once you're on the boat, you can do a controller sequence, and you get a slider puzzle. So just solving that will give me that achievement. And the last one is fill the bestiary. 3 short. So that would require grinding to figure out who I'm missing, where they spawn, and then hang around that area until I finally find them. Apparently, there's a mini boss that's supposedly the second hardest mob in the game, outside of Chaos. And there's it's just a low random chance that you'll never find them. So if you get that, consider yourself lucky. Like, well, I got that. I wanted to kill everything, so I might go back and find the 3 things I missed, but just to say I got all the achievements in the game, but I might not too.
Depends on how you're feeling, right?
It seems like a lot of time for minimal effort, minimal reward.
Right. Gotcha.
Very cool.
That's all I got.
So I've been working through Nobody Saves the World still, and I feel like I'm in a spot where there's probably some things that I can do that I just don't have, I don't have time to do them. And I also need to level up some of the forms that you can turn into. So I'm working through making sure that I'm leveling those up right, because there's some abilities that you get that you need to do different challenges and things. So I'm waiting on that. I actually just found a dungeon where I feel pretty underpowered from where I'm supposed to be. And so I need to, but I was able to complete some challenges I hadn't before because I'd leveled up and got new abilities. And I'm into a point in the game where now you can take abilities from different forms and swap them onto other forms. So you can have you can take the archer's ability to shoot a burst of rapid arrows, and you can put that on the horse form. So now you have a horse that shoots a flurry of rapid arrows. And cool. There's this weird thing. So if you've ever played Guacamelee, there's Drinkbox is big on this, certain types of attacks cause certain types of damage. And you have to use these things to break the guard to then do this, right? So that has transferred over to Nobody Saves the World. Okay. So there's mobs, you'll walk into a room of enemies and there's mobs of enemies there that they're glowing teal, which means you have to break them with the sharp ability first, then be able to attack them. Well, that's great, but switching between forms is real time. So you're getting waylaid while you're trying to swap over to a form, and sometimes it's overwhelming. It's too much. I like this game. It's just I'm still learning the system of it.
Okay.
It's kind of like Guacamelee and Diablo had a baby, and it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of got a dent in its head, and everybody kind of feels sorry. It's kind of look at this cute baby, and they're like, oh yeah, it's cute.
Interesting.
Hopefully,
that's interesting to hear your.
It comes out. I'm hoping that on it. My opinion changes because I do like the game. I think it's genuinely good. I just need to learn how to play it better.
Okay.
The other game that I'm playing, which we have a video up right now on our YouTube channel is a game that is so unlike me it's Cat Cafe Manager, which
I remember this
is a game about you moving to a town where your grandma used to live and lived her secret life of managing a cat cafe that has been destroyed, and you have to rebuild it as part of her last wish. And so it's part Sims, part Stardew Valley, part weird cat lady tendencies. You can watch my playthrough. I played about 25 minutes of it as a let's play. Built my cafe, and it's interesting because you build the cafe, and there's these elements where you have to serve food and do stuff for people, but then you also have to lure cats in so you can pet them so they will trust you and then become your cat and live at your cat cafe.
Shady.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
And here, little kitty.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, witches are like coming in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I just wanted to tell you, I'm a witch, and live in town. If you ever need anything, come on by." And
she has cats to spare.
So what happens is it runs on a timer, and you complete different days, so you can kind of do it at your own pace. And each day you get a score by how well you did things. So people are going to come by and ask for things. Like in the beginning, you're just going to have a sink, and like some ratty table, a ratty table and some chairs and stuff. And people are going to come in and they're going to ask for a glass of water. So you make them a glass of water, they leave, they're happy. But then eventually people start coming in and they ask for pretzels. Well, then you've got to figure out how, like, you've got to go buy the ingredients for pretzels. And then for some reason you can make a pretzel in the sink, and you serve them a sink pretzel. And then people start coming in and they're asking for coffee. So you have to go buy a coffee maker, and you have to go buy the beans, and then you make the coffee. Well, then that coffee is not good enough, because then like the witches start coming in and they want a different type of cat. Then, and it all depends. Like if you have one cat in your cat cafe, which I have right now, that cat can only interact with one person at a time. So if the cat interacts with a person, they leave with a better impression of the place. And that's why you want to like go buy cat food and put it outside and lure cats in. And literally it's like Pokemon, y'all. It's like you lure the cat in, and then you go outside and you hit the action button, and it's like, which cat would you like to pet? And it's like you see the cat's attributes, like, oh, it doesn't go to the bath. It doesn't go to the bathroom as much as others. Or, oh, this is a party cat. It's going to make people happy and all kinds of stuff. It's literally like an icon. Cat. It's an icon of a cat with a party hat on. So this is it's very strange, but it actually was pretty fun. I'm not a huge like sim game person except for like Animal Crossing, and I would love to be into Stardew. Like I would love to be one of those people who's into Stardew Valley, but then like I start Stardew Valley and there's so many choices. I just go, I don't know what to do. Because I've read that like, people who love Stardew Valley, they're like, hey, you can ruin your Stardew Valley in like, the first 15 minutes and it'll never be good. And I'm like, then they should have a manual for that. That should be past the tutorial. Nope. You got to do it right at the beginning. You got to have this. If you want so-and-so to fall in love with you and you want to get this, I can't do all that. That's too much pressure, So yeah. Anyway, Cat Cafe Manager, it's out. It's out right now on Switch. You don't have to wait for it. It's there. It's actually in the top 30. I was looking at earlier at the best-selling games right now on Switch, and it's cracked the top 30. So it's on the bestseller list if you would like to go check it out. And it does have a really cool art style and like a really chill soundtrack that I enjoyed. So
nice.
It's not even on a discount. It's just $20.
Yep. It's just $20. I think it may have had a pre-sale discount like before it came out.
That's possible. It's just,
anyway, that's what I've been playing. Let's turn on the community spotlight. All right. Before we dive into some questions and updates, Tim has a community request.
Yes, it is a special request. So I talked this over with Justin to make sure this was allowed real quick. So he's the only one that knows right now, but this is my request to the community. What I would like from the community, it's essentially what I'm looking for. And I'm just trying to put it out here. So it's basically what I want to ask is for basically our faithful followers, listeners, subscribers, to submit a quick video, no more than 2 minutes long, sharing what brought you to the Nintendo Dads and why you're staying. So why am I doing this? It's basically what I want to do is put together all of the videos. So, and string them together so that we can use it on our home pages for basically YouTube, Patreon, Twitch. We don't have a video right now. A lot of other of our friends who have their pages have a video saying, hey, welcome to us. Thanks for coming here and stuff like that. What I would like to do is create a video that showcases you guys, why you like hanging out here in the community and all that kind of stuff. And the best way to do that is get a collection of videos and stringing them together, so that we can share it with anybody else who's coming to check it out, the community, for the first time and wants to come hang out and stuff like that. In order to do that, the part I had to talk to Justin about is to make sure we had the funds for this is basically, I also want to give everybody a chance to win eShop credit, no matter where your region is. So when you submit a video, you get into a drawing for a chance to win eShop credit. So right now we have first, second, third place right now, placeholders. I don't have any dollar amounts because I want to see how many videos we get. Depending on how many videos we get will depend on how many actual prizes of eShop cards we will give. And what those amounts will be. So the more we get, the more hopefully I can give out as well. So not everybody's going to be able to get one, but you'll have the chance to win some eShop credit for you submitting that video I'm asking for.
And if you are a listener who is in another region outside of North America, we will make sure that you get
any region,
the kind of credit that you need.
Yes,
we'll find a way to make sure you get some credit if you do that. In fact, I would encourage our international listeners, please submit a video. That's because that's really cool. Like to be able to see, it's like, oh, yes. I listen to you and I'm in
next year for sure.
I'm in another country. That's very humbling. It's really cool.
Yes.
So,
and I would like to do this all by Saturday, May 16th. So in the middle of May, I'd like to get them all in because I would like to use some of the time. I'll have a little bit of vacation time that I'll be using at the end of May to go to my brother-in-law's wedding. But hopefully, because it'll be 2 weeks, I'll find some time in there to work on that, on the videos, putting that stuff together.
May 16th is a Monday.
Is it? Maybe
because the 14th is a Saturday. I know that.
Oh, okay.
Because May 15th.
Been looking at the
May 15th is my birthday. It's that Sunday.
All right. So thanks for catching that. So let's say May 20th, Friday, May 20th. So it's the third Friday of that month. Hopefully I'm looking at the right thing this time. So yeah, the third Friday during the dinner table, let's get the due date for that. Friday, May 20th. To get all those videos submitted. So submit them. And the way to submit them is you can submit it to nintendodads@gmail.com. Since it's Gmail, if you have Gmail, you can submit it via, a Drive link or something like that. Or you can send it to me in Discord, if DM, if it's not too big, or send me the link to it. So either by nintendodads@gmail.com or by finding me anywhere on the internet and at NeoPrime33.
Worst case, you could probably, upload it to YouTube, mark it as
unlisted. Yeah.
And then just give us the link to that, and we can pull it from there.
Yes. So
great.
Yep. So that's my ask from the community. So I would like to again showcase everybody's how you came across the Nintendo Dads and why you're staying and why this community is awesome, so that we can share it with other new prospective members of the community.
I like it. Good job, Tim. Good work.
Thanks.
You also have some updates on our family of podcasts.
Yes. So our family of podcasts, we have the latest episodes. And again, if you'll see a lot of this stuff in our Patreon posts as well that we've been doing the last couple of weeks. But to repeat what's been going on in these shows, we got Game Pass news. They're on episode 50 called Bacon and Tax Evasion. And they talk about Sega Super Games Halo Infinite Battle Royale as a question mark, Xbox Series console numbers, and all the bacon questions that they got. So go check that out. Dad's After Dark show, they were on episode 98, and they called that one Splatoon's Pain is Xenoblade's Gain. So they talk about that with Xenoblade moves up the calendar, and what do Netflix problems mean for Game Pass, and Drew's Nature Preserve returns. So lots of great stuff on there. I enjoyed listening to that one too. That was a lot of fun. And then Retro Logic episode 78, Controllers Part 2, where they talk about the results of their Controller Wars poll, which we discussed the top 4 last week, but they are discussing the winner on the show on this episode. The games they bought that the previous week, and have you ever sold a game after playing it for the first time? So lots of good retro discussion there. Let's go check out Retro Logic there. Again, at retrologic.games, where you can see all their feeds there. And that's what's going on.
Why are we not NintendoDads.games?
I don't think I knew that was an option.
I didn't know that .game. Can anything be a suffix now for an internet URL?
I think it was a little bit more expensive for the .games, because I think we looked at it at the time. It was a little bit more expensive.
It can't be anything. There's still a limit, but what that limit is really expanded. There's like 50 different.
I want to be like Marty.caffeine. Can I do that? Marty Estes.coffee.
There is.
Can I do that?
There is limitations.
It doesn't seem like it. I mean, it seems like now we can make any word. You know, we've had .tv, we've had .com, we've had
there's specific categories that
we've had .uk, 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 we've had .games. I mean, what if .lamp? I don't know. I'm just pulling like .twinkly lights. I don't know. Anyway, head over to our Twitter. That's at Nintendo Dads, and be sure that you have entered into our Gleamio account, or our Gleamio contest. We're giving away a copy of Nintendo Switch Sports, and you have just a very limited amount of time to go over there and do that. All you have to do is click and do some things and jump through some hoops, and you too could win a free, that's FREE, not THREE, a free copy of Nintendo Switch Sports, which means even if it sucks, you got it for free. And I mean, it doesn't matter if it's free, right?
Yep.
It's kind of like a steak.
Pay for the DLC that comes out.
It's kind of like a steak. If you give me a free steak and the steak sucks, it's still steak, right? Still a free meal.
Steak.
As long as I don't get like salmonella and die from food poisoning.
That's right.
Let's get into some questions for our community. Wow. Lots of action over on Discord with our patrons throwing us some great questions, not just gaming questions, but dad questions this week. Zablanc, love his name, Zablanc.
Zablanc.
Zablanc asks us this. What are the sneakiest things your kids did behind your back that you found out? I don't know if I don't know if I can talk about this one. It's seriously one of the most rage-inducing. This is one of the most rage-inducing moments of my entire life.
I think because my kids are older, I think I've got the winner. If we're
okay. Why don't you go ahead and just win it all then?
Our youngest one came home with a bag of marijuana. It's kind of hard to not mask that smell.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they even wrote a song about it. Leonard Skinner wrote a song about it. I mean, so yeah. Okay.
But, my wife was very unhappy, which led to the youngest being very unhappy for a while.
That's how it usually goes. Tim, what about you?
Mine's fairly recent. Lately, Sammy's gotten in the bad habit of sneaking food because we're trying to, he's not necessarily on a diet. It's just trying to make sure he doesn't overeat or eat more, like more than his share of whatever we have, like in the house. Like he'll eat a whole bag of Doritos if he could, if we didn't say, you got to have, this amount. So what he's been doing lately has been sneaking whenever we happen to not be in the room or away or whatever, and nobody's in the vicinity where he wants that thing. He's been sneaking the stuff, whether it be candy or snacks or anything like that. He even stole, and this is what he got really in trouble for. He stole his sister's Easter candy that she had bought right before Easter. It was her favorite. She bought it with her own money because it was her favorite and she couldn't find them. It was actually the chocolate covered Peeps. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're like completely covered with chocolate.
I think I saw it. I only saw it when you posted it. I haven't seen them in the wild.
Yes. So she had bought some and they were in her room, and everybody was, I'm down here in my office area doing work. At the time, I think my wife's gone back to the office now. So I think she was back at the office. He was home. She wasn't. She was at work. He had stole a good amount of those chocolate Peeps, and she was angry at that. And he learned a lesson, a valuable lesson because of that. So of stealing, and I had to equate it to that. It was stealing. So yeah, that was the sneakiest thing. I don't know if it's really sneaking because he got caught, but that's a lot of times he's sneaking, and we find wrappers in the trash, out of his room. He's trying to be sneaky or whatever. So we try not to call out how we caught him, so he doesn't learn from that and try to be sneakier. But yeah, that's what he's been doing lately as far as sneaky stuff.
So mine, I think I've referenced here on the show before, but this was during the early days of the pandemic when tensions were really high, and like a win was a win. Like if you needed a win, like it was really just hard to feel like you'd gotten a win. Especially I was working super long hours and doing a ton of stuff here at the office and juggling stuff. And I went to the store, and while I was there at the store, I found a pint container of Nestle ready to eat cookie dough, they were like safe to eat cookie dough, right? And I was like, this is a win. And so I bought it, and I didn't have a spoon. So I got back to my office, I found a spoon. I took one spoonful out of it, put it in the fridge, and took it home that night. I was like, tonight, like I had something going on that night. I can't remember what it was. Like we were out of the house. I really don't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, I can't wait to come home, and I'm going to take another big spoonful of that cookie dough. Right. And so I came home, and the first thing I noticed was in the sink were 2 spoons that had cookie dough on them. Like you could tell it had been scooped out and put in somebody's mouth, and there was residue. And so, y'all, listen, again, pandemic, lots of work. I started accusing everybody. Like I was like, who ate my cookie dough? Like somebody ate my cookie dough. Because the first thing I did was I looked at my kids. Rewind, back. First thing I did was open the fridge. And the cookie dough, which had been a pint, had like 1 spoonful left in it.
Oof.
And I was like, oh my gosh, who is eating my cookie dough? And so I go over to my in-laws, which they live in the same house. And I go over to their side of the house, and I'm like, did somebody come in my house? And they're like, not that we know of. I was like, somebody ate my cookie dough. And I am fired up. I'm like, I wanted my cookie dough. Walmart was like, there was no way to go to Walmart. I wasn't going to go back. It's 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I'm not going back. And so I'm like, okay, great. And I'm mad. Like I'm seeing red about this. And so I questioned my kids again. I'm like, did you eat my cookie dough? I'm like, I was like, it's at a point right now where I'm mad, but I'm going to be more mad if I found out you were lying. And they were like, no, we didn't eat your cookie dough. I was like, fine. And like, I'm grilling them. Like, like we're like CIS cookie dough, right? You know, and it's like, you know, special victims, special cookie dough unit. So they go to bed and we're sitting there and I'm like, I can't believe, like, I just took the rest of it and threw it away. I was like, somebody's mouth has been in this cookie dough. You know, and the thing is, the ironic thing about it is, like, my wife and I were talking about, I was like, if they just ask, like, I was like, I know it's one of the kids. I know it is. I know that it's one, you know, and they're lying about it. And I expected it to be my son because we were having problems with him, you know, sneaking food like you were talking about and stuff. Because there's some development stuff and all that. And I knew it. I was so convinced it was him. And I was like, I don't even want to eat it anymore. I just threw the last bite away. I was like, I just can't believe somebody ate that much cookie dough in one sitting.
Right.
And so we're sitting there and we're like, I think I was playing Animal Crossing or something. And my daughter comes down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, Daddy, I need to talk to you. I was like, okay, here it comes. Like, she's going to roll over on her brother right here. She's throwing him under the bus. I was like, okay, what is it? She's like, I ate your cookie dough. And I was like, okay. So I said, so you're admitting to me, like, you're telling me right now, you lied to me. You lied to my face. You looked in my eyes and you said, no, sir, I did not eat your cookie dough. And she's like, yeah, I lied. And I'm sorry. And I was like, well, I'm sorry too, because everything that you love is now mine for a month. Mm-hmm. And she looked at me like, and I said, no, I'm serious. I was like, where's your iPad? She got it. I said, where's your Switch? Here it is. I was like, that's the only thing. She wasn't going to dance. She wasn't doing any of those things. She had she had a Switch Lite and she had that. And I said, it's gone. I was like, and don't even come in this room if we're watching TV. You're just not on a screen. You're just not on a screen, period.
Right.
For a month. And we stuck to that. And it was so hard to do.
Yeah.
But man, golly, I was so furious. Not just furious, but furious and brokenhearted, because it sucks for your kids to look in your face and go, yeah, I lied to you. Like it was nothing.
Can I clarify something real quick? So Mecha Dragon saying that he felt that punishment was aggressive. And I think he's missing the point here, that it wasn't necessarily about the cookie dough. It was about the child lying.
The thing, and exactly right. Let me say this. The punishment was going to be less until I found out that she lied to me.
Right.
And so now we're compounding issues, right?
Right.
And the thing is that we've already dealt with her at this point, because this is like 2 years ago. She's turning 14 in June. So she's 12. We've already dealt with her at this point of being caught in a lie before. Mm-hmm. And we told her next time it's going to be worse. And then it happened again. It was like, next time it's going to be worse. And so we've already like taken the stuff away for a week. And then it was 2 weeks. And we told her then, it's like, next time it happens, next time you lie to me, it's going to, because that's like, I can't stand that. Like, I can't stand being lied to. I said, next time it's for a month. And at that time, like now she has a phone, you know, and she has her iPad, which she barely touches anymore, but because of the phone, you know.
Yeah. I've been through that too.
And that's okay. I mean, that's fine. Yep. But now I'd hit her where it hurts. Now I would turn the phone off. Yeah. And I'm not talking about taking it up. I'm talking about turning it off.
Right.
And, you know, here's the thing. These punishments that I say, these are not leveled on them without conversations and without some grace and without, you know, it's not just, well, this is happening. We're never talking about it again. We're never talking about what happened or what you did again. We talk about those things, and there is some levity that comes with that. But I think also, like, I want to say this, and I want to say, and I don't want to tick anybody off, but I just want to say this. Ultimately, my goal is not to be my kid's friend. Okay? Right. It's not. I'm their parent. It's my job to parent them in a way that hopefully raises competent, moral, good, hardworking, successful kids or adults. Now that I am, when I got married and when I moved off and everything, that's when I can be my parent, a friend to my parents.
Right.
But until then, I need to guide them in a way that I think needs to happen. And what I don't want people to do is be like, man, oh man, he is a taskmaster. He's a slave driver. What you don't see is all the things that have led up to that point.
That's correct. There's context there.
And what like when we're dealing with a girl who has lying issues and sneaking issues already, the punishments have to be a little more severe.
And something I've learned over time.
Here's the thing. Can I say this and I'm done. What we tell them all the time is when you lie to us, what that does is it breaks our trust. Mm-hmm. And when the thing is that as mom and dad, we want to trust you because we want good things for you and we want to give you good things. But when you break our trust, it causes us to think maybe we can't give you these good things yet. And so that it's a snowball effect. Like if I can't trust you not to eat my cookie dough in the fridge, can I trust you when you're 16 and I give you the keys to the car? Can I trust you when you're, almost 14 and I hand you a phone and say, you need to be careful what you say and what you send with this? So that maybe is why we've been a little heavy-handed because we want to be able to give them the freedom later on to experience those good things and have our trust and us not have to feel like we have to constantly check up on them, or constantly spy on them. Cause I ain't about that life. I don't have time for that. So,
and what I was going to say was too, is the reason for the consequences at home is so, yes, somebody might think that they're harsh in that environment, but in the real world, they're a lot harsher. So you try to get them to learn the lessons at home and not in the real world where it's harsher.
Yeah.
But you equate it to those things so they understand that you got this punishment here, but in the real world, it's a lot harsher. And you tell them what happens and all that kind of stuff. Like the stealing I was talking about with Sam, I had to equate that to that level. Like, look, you got in trouble. This is the consequences for your actions here at home. In the real world, if you stole something, you go to jail, or there's worse consequences, or you do community service or something like that, So
we want to head. I mean, that's worst case scenario, and we want to head that off at the pass.
Yeah, so that's why we have consequences at home.
Mainly, what I want to do is
you got your TV time taken away.
Yeah.
Compared to you're going to jail if you stole it out in the real world.
Yeah. I mean, like
everything taken away.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it comes down to is like we have done everything else we could think to do. So now we're going to take the thing that you enjoy the most, which is your iPad, and we're going to remove that for a time. And ultimately, here's the thing: punishment is meant to cause a discomfort, which leads to a thought process about why am I where I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we have not, and I mean, I grew up being spanked and, that kind of, and thankfully it didn't last far past, like 6, 7. That didn't with our kids either. I mean, we would pop their hand if they were reaching for something they didn't need to every now and then, but we never felt like we had to really discipline our kids that way. What's been more effective than anything has been talking to them. Like my son to this day, I think still, and I'm going to say this because he watches the show. I love my son. But I think that the worst thing that I can do for him right now is to look at him and say, I'm disappointed in you.
Right.
And I'm not. Like that doesn't happen very often. I'm very proud of my son. I'm very proud of my daughter. But, and they know that. I hope they know that.
Right.
But the issue is that when you do something that I've asked you multiple times to not do, that's extremely disappointing because not only does it make me feel like I'm not a good parent, But it also makes me think, okay, what's wrong here? Where are we not connecting? There's a deeper issue. So,
Yep.
That's probably way more than anybody wanted out of that. But hey, we're Nintendo dads,
Right? Yeah.
Right. No, we talk about dad.
And just to the last little comment here is like, we're not expecting everybody to agree with what we're doing as parents either. It's just how we're sharing what we do. We know everybody does things differently. We know we're not perfect as parents.
Oh no.
But we're doing the best we can too. So,
please, Lord,
we all learn
I would say look at my life and follow and see the mistakes and go in the opposite direction. Right.
So
honestly,
we chat about this too, so that we can chat about it and,
absolutely
understand and what other parents do and either learn from that, whether you think you agree with it or not, so you could say, yeah, I agree with that, I'm going to do that, or I don't agree with it, I'm going to do something different, and then maybe you come up with something better, who knows.
Absolutely.
So, but that's
absolutely, and
a lot of people like it when we talk about this stuff.
I would say too that if anybody's listening and they want to chat about any of this, like, hey, I'm going through something similar, or reach out to us like on our social media
come to the dinner
channels. Come to the dinner table,
send
us a direct message, anything like that. We'd be happy to talk to you.
Yes.
Shy Guys asked us this. He says, this is kind of a two-part question. He says, I feel like 90s me, who was geeking out over 16-bit gaming, would have an excitement stroke over today's gaming world. Think of all the big and little touches that have come along: online gaming, auto saves, the ability to put a system into sleep mode and resume, screenshots, clips, streaming, instant digital purchases, advancements with controllers, all the masterpieces released over the years, the music, major leaps in graphics, widescreen, gaming being more accepted, list goes on and on and on and on. Here's question number one. What would your 10-year-old self think of today's gaming world?
I would be mind blown, literally, because when I was 10, this is still pre-NES. The Famicom's out in Japan, but NES hasn't released yet in North America. So my gaming knowledge at this point is in television and Atari.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was 10, it was 1985. So NES is just starting to build its credibility and stuff like that at that time. So, and I didn't have one. I couldn't get one because my family had bought into the Atari 5200 thinking that was the thing, so, but yeah, seeing that, just, technology has always been a part of my life because of my grandparents. And I got to see a cell phone in the briefcase because of my grandfather, because he was an engineer. So mobile technology from that point, whenever I saw my grandpa coming home with that kind of technology, has always fascinated me, between the, briefcase cell phone and the brick laptops, and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like cinder block, like laptops. So, but yeah, so getting to see something like, the Nintendo Switch, or any of the things that you could do with gaming that he talked about that you can do compared to what I saw at the time, even that stuff, Nintendo blew my mind when I saw it in the store. So to see anything that's now at 10, I would have been like, I probably would have been disappointed with everything until I got to the point in time where the Switch came out, if it was the Switch or anything like that. So I'm glad I wasn't showing this stuff at 10 years old, and knowing what the future was, because I would have been disappointed with everything that would have come out by the time the actual thing came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So at 10 years old, turning 10 in 1990, I was about about a year removed from getting the Game Boy for the first time. And so if you told me that we'd go from Super Mario Land portable to Super Mario Odyssey portable, but then possibly also being able to go back and play all of the NES games, and maybe one day Super Mario Land on a portable that didn't take 4 AA batteries. I killed so many Duracell batteries. And like I had the wall charger, the power pack and all of that. And just an NES and that. If you told me one day all of that would fit on a Switch, that would have, you know, a 5-6 hour battery life off one charge, and it's rechargeable. You know, I'm like Jesse, mind blown.
Yes.
And I came into video gaming late. I mean, I came in 1988. Previously, it was just arcade stuff. So, and then if I knew what was just around the corner, you know, 92, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx 16, and then on and on and on from there. I don't think there's any, like, I love thinking about this because I don't think there's any way that like a 10-year-old in that day could comprehend it, because this is things that these companies were dreaming of and saying, I wish we could. Yeah. But like even this, like the concept of the Switch and 3D gaming and all kinds of things, like being the proliferation of that, hadn't even been thought of yet.
Well, I'm sure though, if you, I remember dreaming as a kid, a lot of things, especially like when the Game Boy came out and all that kind of stuff. Like when I started, as soon as I had that technology in my hands and was playing on it, I was already thinking of what if it did this, or what if it did that, you know? So not to the extent of what we have today, but obviously just, you know, what if, you know, what if it had color and I didn't have to have a flashlight on it in order to see it, you know, just that kind of stuff. You know, you start thinking of what if it has this or that, or what if I could just take my Super Nintendo cartridge and plug it into a Game Boy type device, you know, and play that on the go. I absolutely had thoughts like that. I know, because my friends and I would talk about that kind of stuff. And
your
just
Game Boy game into a Super Nintendo and play.
Right. Well, that didn't happen yet right away when we were talking about that yet. But that did happen. That blew my mind. Being able to play your Game Boy game at home and then being able to play it on the go. That was pretty cool, you know, or your Game Boy Advance games, you know, being able to play that in your GameCube. Even though it was much later and I was an adult, that was still pretty cool to me. So, all just, again, always thinking like we do that now with the Switch, you know, it's like, this is cool, but what if it did this? What if it did that? And all that kind of stuff, you know? So, yeah, definitely.
Really cool. Here's the second part of the question. It is, however, daily, there's tons of negativity and complaints related to gaming. Do you think most gamers appreciate these advances and the vocal minority are just loud, or have we as a whole just become spoiled and unappreciative?
We always want better. We always want more. Well, like I was just saying.
He said, to clarify, he says,
and people our age, I think we appreciate what we have.
Yes.
It's the younger generation who, like, their first console was a PS3. There's little innovation between
ragamuffins
and now. And so, like, unless someone sits them down with, hey, this is what the gaming was like in the 80s.
Right.
They have no appreciation of it to be able to appreciate.
Yeah, I think that like Jesse, especially you, I mean, because you say, you know, you were in the Atari and era and things like that, like to see the massive leap, and even like someone who came along during the NES era, and that was the first thing, like to see the massive leap, like from the NES to the Super Nintendo and then to the Nintendo 64, like to see gaming transform so fast and so quick, was pretty magical looking back on it. Like, and honestly, I don't think we'll ever see that rapid pace of innovation ever again. Because we kind of reached like a gradual.
Well, we start getting the holodeck, you know.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, here, think about it this way. You know, 15 years ago today, we were playing on Wii, and PS3 just came out, and Xbox 360 has been out for a year. Then you take, say, when Super Nintendo launched in 91, 15 years back from that, 1976. You have Pong Arcade.
Right, yeah.
So 15 years doesn't mean the same in advancement as it did before.
Wow. Yeah.
And real quick, shout out to Nintendo Pals for rating us, by the way. Thanks very much for you and your guests for rating us. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Fantastic question. He also Shy Guy has another question here. This is a little bit more non-gaming, more podcasty. He says, I understand using self-depreciating humor or self-deprecating humor for laughs and to show you don't take yourself too seriously. I use it in my classroom all the time. However, what's your real take on either your own personal progress or the show's progress over the years? Do you recognize your own growth as content creators? Do you have pride in your work? And then he puts in parentheses, I hope so. It's deserved. Thank you very much for that. I would say
this is a question we probably need Justin on for, but
yeah, this is a little navel gazing here, but I would say for me, like if I go back and listen to those early episodes of me being on the show, like, yeah, I would never have thought that, like, you know, hey, Marty, take show lead. I'd be like, oh, I don't know.
That's where I'm at right now.
I definitely didn't know. I will say this, like, I know more about streaming and video content creation because of Nintendo Dads than I did 4 years ago. And the things that I knew about OBS and streaming and everything actually saved us so much time as a church when we went to streaming only during the pandemic, because we had no clue what to do. And up until that time, it had been like me with my phone on Sunday morning in the sound booth on it with a $5 tripod from Five Below.
Five Below, yeah.
And like plugging a cord in from the soundboard and just doing it on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, because we were on Restream, because we were using OBS and I'd already done Extra Life and all kinds of stuff. Like, guys, the first time I ever tried to stream I'll tell you this, it was Snake Pass for the Switch. You remember Snake Pass?
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, I got this capture card, the Elgato HD6. I had no clue what I was doing, was trying to stream on a MacBook Air. It was awful. It's terrible. But you have to start somewhere. And yeah, I do see growth. I think that I'm really proud of where we are. I'm more than anything, I'm proud of the relationships that we've been able to build with other content creators and with our patrons because of Nintendo Dads. That's the thing I'm most proud about.
I agree, especially because of the mentality you could have, the competitive mentality we could have as Nintendo Dads, or even before I got here on the front end. The mentality has always been, partnering up. There's always been a joke, with the Mega Dads and all that kind of stuff about, that kind of the competitive stuff there, but really there isn't. And it's a lot of fun to see that there, and it spread out amongst the communities, saying, hey, look, we can be friends, even though we're talking about the same content, we all do it differently. So the growth there, not saying it's because of the Nintendo Dads, I think it's just the Nintendo Dads were a part of that, the growth of just being able to share with each other and communicate with others and all that fun stuff. So that's where I see a lot of the growth there. So and then knowledge too, like especially when I sit back and had the privilege of being in the pre-show, post-show, when guests have been on, like the Nintendo Pals, when they've been on when they were first starting out and they were guests on the show, the knowledge that you guys provided to them because of your history is awesome to me, so it's like to be able to see that, or to be able to see that where, Jesse, Justin, and Marty, and whoever else might be on is sharing that knowledge of the things that you've learned, so that they don't have to make the same mistakes and can go out and do it better than the Nintendo Dads ever did, and then they can go on and pass on the knowledge to the next group of people who want to do podcasting. So, and in turn, we learn stuff still too. So,
yeah. And as for, how we consider ourselves a success, or how grown as content creators, I think, one thing I think about is, when we first started, we had to scrape together whatever equipment we could afford on our own. Then we got a community, we started the Patreon, and we're able to use that fund to improve our own equipment. So like, I bought a mic. I think everyone's bought a mic at one point or another, I bought a motherboard for this computer because the first one I installed it fried, and I'm one of those recordings. We kind of need a computer that is able to do what it needs to do. So, and the Stream Deck, capture cards, all this stuff has been all the crowdfunding has helped us improve our equipment, which in turn gives us better content to go back to give back to you.
Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah. And look, about the whole contents competition thing, you don't have to be around here long enough to know that we're just a sack full of idiots who just happen to do things right every now and then. So, the old saying is a broken watch is right 2 times a day. So, sometimes the success, I'm putting that in quotes for those of you who are audio listeners, the success you see is something we have just stumbled into. It's a happy accident. But I love that. I mean, that's why I love Thursday nights. They're long, makes for a long day, but I love doing this because I love connecting with people on the podcast and because of the podcast, but I also love you guys and being a part of the conversation. And I love the fact we jokingly say in my house, like I throw this around, I'm like, the phrase, the number 3 Nintendo podcast in Canada. Because at one time, like Justin, searched us and he's like, guys, we're number 3. And we're not, I don't know what we are now. We don't I'm not like some obsessive stat checker. I don't even know where to find that stuff. But I'm like, I'll just throw it around the house. Sometimes be like, my wife will ask me like, could you take in the trash? And I'm like, number 3 podcast in Canada, Nintendo podcast in Canada. I'm not taking out the trash.
Right.
It's just, and it's to poke fun because, I mean, really at the end of the day, like, what does it mean to be number 1?
Yeah.
This is not our day job. I doubt it ever will be. It's just for fun. It's for fun. You understand?
Yes.
So I know it's different in every region, but I just looked in iTunes. It's Nintendo, and in North America we are 5th.
Ooh, number 5 on the list. Yep. Let's recognize our success and our growth.
So ahead of ahead of us is NVC, Nintendo Power Podcast, All Things Nintendo, and Nintendo Power Cast. The latter, no immediate direct relation to Nintendo, unlike
also,
the second one is Nintendo's show.
Also in front of us, a myriad of Nintendo podcasts that probably pop up on somebody else's device when they search for us. But anyway, yeah. Gandalf 1937 asks us this. He says, what have you learned about yourself as a gamer as you get older and your kids get older? Ooh, that's a great question.
Well, for me, things I like do not correlate to things my kids will like. And I have to live with that. They've got to live with it because I'm going to be buying games they don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
And, once we just, once we just kind of get used to, okay, we're going to be getting games that we don't, half of us won't like, but because the other half likes it.
Yeah. Tim, what about you?
This is a tough one because I've learned probably some hard facts. It may sound silly to some people, but I've learned that I'm just an okay gamer, and that's not a bad thing. Like I have fun, and I put this on the bingo card. In fact,
I suck at games.
We put it. Yeah, it's like I play games and have fun. When it comes to multiplayer, I've tried to be competitive in it, but there was a point when I was younger where I would get mad and I wasn't having fun, like when trying to play multiplayer and just get totally beat and all that kind of stuff and just sucking at multiplayer. And it could be as simple as Mario Kart, So I've learned that I'm an okay gamer, but I'm having fun with it. I'm not as good as, say, Sean, we see in the Discord, he's just destroying Metroid Dread.
Insane.
He's just destroying that.
Where again, I've never finished the game. I didn't get past the first 2 or 3 hours.
Right. Or you got, like Drew, who does the golf, and Hambo and Johnny, who do really good the golf games, right? Everybody's got their niche games. I don't have any of those. I don't think. It's like, I mean, I have my favorites. Yeah. And like Metroid Dread for me was a battle. If anybody remembers, like everybody's finishing within 12 hours or less. Mine was 16 hours. So but I finished it, and it was a grind for me.
And I just played a Final Fantasy at about that same time.
Yeah, see? So and obviously too, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I've seen people who've gone through and beat the game in a month or whatever and stuff like that. And that's fun for them. That's great. For me, I've just played a little bit here and there over the 5 years. And then I've had the urge to play it and want to complete it, and made it part of the community thing, where everybody's kind of, cheering me on to finish it, which is awesome. So, but again, it goes back to whenever I stream it, which makes me a little nervous because whenever I stream Legend of Zelda, I don't play as good as maybe some people can play it. Might get frustrated in watching me play it because I don't play as good. I don't get the timing down in the battles or the dodging or whatever you call it, the flurry hits and all that kind of stuff. So but over time, I've learned that basically it's okay for me to be an okay gamer because I'm having fun with it. I'm having fun with the games on my own. And that's why I enjoy single player games more so than the multiplayer games. And then with the kids, they're getting older. They're in their teens. They like playing a lot of games on their own or playing the multiplayer games that I don't get to play, and they do well on it, so, so those are the things I've learned over time and can appreciate. So, and it's been tough to kind of, in one side, it's been tough to say that, I suck in a certain way, but like I said, I like, that's why I prefer to say I'm okay with games, but I have fun with it. But at the other side of it is I'm relieved that I've learned to feel that way about games, that I don't have to be fantastic at it and stuff like that. But great question.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think for me, it's that I have to pick and choose what I'm going to spend my time on, because it's like this week, I only had time to play games like early in the morning before I left for work or late at night when I finally got home and got sat down. And I've had very little time. In fact, I was chatting with Justin earlier this week about how far along in Fortnite season this season of Fortnite he was, and I was like, I'm just not as far because I haven't had time. And what time I have had, I've been putting into other games. It's a lot easier to be level 60 or level 70 already when there's nothing out that I'm really interested in. But I've had Nobody Saves the World in WWE 2K22 and all kinds of Lego Star Wars and all kinds of other stuff. So I've been spending my gaming time there. But another thing that I've learned is that there are games that I would easily dismiss that my son will play, and I have to learn to engage and talk to him about those games. I typically have been like, Minecraft sucks. Like I get it. It's an icon of a game.
I was going to say Minecraft.
I get the impact it's made, but I know more. 99.9% of the things I know about Minecraft, I know because Isaac has told me those things. Yeah. And I've tried to remember them for him so that he and I can have conversations. Right. And like we would even play Minecraft, and I was like, I can't. I would go to sleep in the middle of it. Like I would just be sitting there holding the controller. He's like, Dad, you're not doing anything. I'm like, yeah, because I'm asleep. But instead of saying, well, that's trash, I'm not going to do that. Five Nights at Freddy's. I had to say, there's a new one that he just bought called Happy's Hamburger Farm or something like that. That's like a game.
Yes. That's different franchise, but similar concept.
Right. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't do spooky, but I like, I'm just like, it's just Five Nights at Freddy's. He's like, no. And So I listened to him explain, I've got to learn that there's going to be things that I like. Like I love retro platformers. Maybe he doesn't love those as much as I do. That's okay. The dude beat Mario Odyssey before I ever did. Like it was like that.
Yeah.
There's other stuff that he takes to and he plays for hours and hours and hours on end. And that's okay. And it's okay for him to like those things. Now, if there's something offensive in it, obviously no. But I mean, he's the one that got me into Fortnite. And now he's kind of leaving it behind. And I kind of I find myself feeling sad. Because it's like that's something we used to do together and we could talk about. And now he's moved on to like rhythm games. He loves this game called Friday Night Funkin'.
Son plays that and like
and I don't get it, but I'm glad he's awesome at it, y'all. Like I watch him play it and I'm like, I could never do that.
Yeah.
Like that's I'm proud of him, but I don't get it. I don't understand it. And because he plays this game and it'll just makes these sounds like and I'm like, this is not, what is this?
Kids like it for the weird gameplay, but the game's got some weird lore going on, and that's what brings in the other people.
I know. And it's just
the Mad Pats.
Everything has to have lore now. Like I don't need it's a game where you push directions. It doesn't have to have lore.
Yeah, the Happy Hamburger game's got some weird lore going on too.
Trust me, I know. Chris HL94 asks us this: with Xbox, PlayStation, Stadia, and all expanding their cloud gaming subscription services, why hasn't someone tried to make a catch-all device that could play all cloud games? Not a PC, but a dedicated cloud game player. Would something like this make money?
I have an answer with one word: licensing.
Yeah. It'd be a nightmare. And how would you sort that out to all those companies? Like, are Xbox, PlayStation, Stadia, and Amazon, or Xbox, PlayStation, Google, and Amazon all going to get a cut of a game that would have just been on Luna or just been on Stadia?
It would be one company like it is now. Like I could see, like, for example, either Steam doing something like this, where they do a cloud gaming device, like they have for this Steam thing, or even like if Google Stadia did where they should be doing, but we're all afraid of them leaving it behind. They probably could have done something like this too, but it would just be that one company who supports like mainly the third parties, or if they have their own games, they could support that. I could see that being done. Now, I could see it being done. Because, and would it make money? It just depends on how well of a service is. And the thing that holds it back though is our infrastructure. I don't think we have the infrastructure for a company to make enough money for, like, say, 80 million devices out there to run in the cloud. Yes, you got your phones, but I mean gaming like we know it today, not mobile gaming, but gaming like we play, I don't think would run as well unless we get a better 5G across everywhere that everybody can access, including people like Marty, where you can have.
I'm just nodding because I just want something. I mean,
with 5G was the thing that was promised to be able to bring everybody on the same.
And let me tell you, AT&T's 5G sucks. I took a picture earlier. I was in a town of not very many, comparatively to wherever everybody else lives. I mean, Jackson, Tennessee is like a 70,000, 80,000. I had 5 full bars, 5G. Download speed, 6 megabit per second.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, that's
and
what
if you ask anybody who works at AT&T, they're like, our network's just going through some stuff. They're tinkering with it. Well,
they're probably they're probably using the wide area that 5G allows, more area per tower, but they're probably purposely throttling the limit just because they can, and there's no competition.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, there's Verizon and T-Mobile around here, but all of them suck at my house.
It's that, again, it's the infrastructure. That's the only thing I think that would be holding something like that behind. So once we get that infrastructure, then we'll see companies slowly going into that. Like, for example, I think Nintendo Switch could eventually do it. Maybe the Switch 2, whatever that might be.
A cellular Switch.
We get more capabilities of using broadband to play cloud gaming on the go.
Yeah. I mean, I would be for that if we had good service. But
like my 200 meg versus Marty's 6 meg on the same system is still going to be garbage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's move on here. Hambo and Johnny, aren't we overdue for an indie showcase? He says, I feel like we may be running out of time if Nintendo is still planning an E3-like presentation for June.
And then I did some research.
Yeah, Jesse did some research here. We've had a video every 4 months, plus or minus a month going back to August 2017. So April, August, December, most years. 2018 through 2020 had one in March instead of April. There's also a gap where December 2018 would have been. Japan had one, Europe had one, but North America did not. So you could see one this week. You might could see, first part of May. They may just be holding it all for E3.
Yeah, if they've never had an indie event in May that I could tell. So I think if they don't have one next week, we're probably not going to see anything until after their big next big presentation.
Absolutely. Spider Shan says, joke question for Marty. Your reaction when Nintendo announces a 60-minute E3 Direct only to find out that 40 minutes are about the battle system in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Kill it with fire. That's the God.
Hey, John.
The Grandpa Dragon.
If I have to get one more notification about an Ouroboros or whatever it's called, like, oh, they can link together, I don't care. I'm like, I'm now realizing that we are going to get tweets about this game until July. And
yeah, I was referring to Gramps, your favorite turtle.
Oh my God, that's still the most garbage fire E3 Nintendo announcement ever. Anyway, serious question from the dads. Let's redeem this. If you could alter any one of your 2022 predictions, what would it be? Here it is. Let me start. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 canceled. Xenoblade Chronicles franchise dead. There it is.
This is the question I was referring to earlier, that about changing your predictions, because you had one that you were like, you wish you could change.
Yeah. It's the Mario movie. It's I put that we would be getting an unannounced Mario game this year that would coincide with the release or tie into the release of the Mario movie.
Exact same thing,
which is not happening, and I wish I could take that back now because I don't know what else I would predict. You know what I wish I could predict? Nintendo is going to delay a bunch of games. Nintendo's going to delay a bunch of things, and it's going to be sad.
They're going to delay a bunch of things, and there'll be one game they move up to throw us off.
Yep. Hey, surprise! We were just sitting on it.
Yep.
Before we wrap up, there's something else I wanted to throw in that I wanted to talk about during what I was playing, but I forgot about it. So
okay.
Were we done with this one, or?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Unless you've got another answer.
No, I don't have another answer. But do you remember the game voucher program?
Oh yeah.
So for
which we don't have here anymore, but they still have in Europe, right?
Yeah, and Japan, and that's where I'm getting at. For those who don't remember it, you could spend $99.99 plus tax, your local tax, to get 2 game vouchers, which you had to redeem within a year, which could be redeemed for most Nintendo published games. So if you bought 2 games for $60, that would have normally been $120, but you spent $100, so you saved $20. That was the plan. It was only available for like a year or so in North America, but the rest of the world still has it. I forgot about it until I was recently told that, yeah, this is still a thing in Japan. So I looked at it, and the cost was 99,950 yen, which works out to be like just under $90. So I went to Play Asia, got 2 5,000 yen cards to which was, so I spent $91 total. So I was able to buy 2 Japan game vouchers for $91 without tax there. So compared to the $100 plus tax, which would have been about $109. So that's like almost $20 discount from that alone, in addition to the $20 off just from using it. So I think that's a good deal for me.
Yeah.
So because it's Japan, games released on Friday in Japan is like Thursday afternoon here. So I'll be able to download 2 games early and start playing it on Thursday.
How to game the system with Jesse Waldack.
Right. Mecca asks, can I read Japanese? But that's the thing. If the game is meant for a worldwide release, I can still play it with my English account and download it on the Japanese account and play it in English account. I've done that with many Picross games. I've done it with the brain training thing.
The only place that I can see that coming back to bite you is if it's a game that you're going to want to play online with people, and they're going to have DLC that is region specific. And Splatoon DLC was region specific because when Splatoon 2 came out, or actually Splatoon was region specific because the Splatfests were region specific. So like we would get one and I couldn't play it because I had a European copy of Splatoon 2 that Nintendo gave us.
Well, apparently Splatoon 3 is supposed to be a worldwide build. So if they do Splatfests, it will be worldwide, not region specific. And that's what the expansion pack DLC is for. So I'll have access to the DLC with that. So, and the thing that was interesting to me when I was looking through the Japan store, their games aren't completely price fixed like ours are. Most are about 6,500 yen, but their Xenoblade 3 is more like 8,300 yen. So if you're in Japan planning on digitally buying Xenoblade, you might as well go with a game voucher for $15 more. Get your Xenoblade with one of them, and then you have the second one that you spent $15 on.
There you go.
So,
nice.
I knew that the pricing structure wasn't fixed, but I didn't realize it fluctuated that much still. Like back, Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo was like $80. But that was not normal. That was kind of the oddity. But still things like that are still common in Japan.
Very interesting. I have a Japan account too on my Switch. I might have to look into that.
Yeah, that's the thing. You still have
same here.
You can't use your credit card or your PayPal account to do that. You have to get yen eShop currency from like Play Asia or something similar.
Yes. That's why Play Asia is our friend.
That is correct. And speaking of friends, if you're still with us, thank you for hanging out with us for episode 373 of Nintendo Dads with this deluxe extra long edition of the show tonight. I know I've enjoyed hanging out, talking about all things Nintendo with Tim and Jesse, and you as well. And we hope you've enjoyed the show. As we close out, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, Antonio Contronio, Solo Something, and Alexander Ocampo. Thank you guys for backing us at the $30 Patreon producer level. You can be a Patreon of Nintendo Dads as well by going over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. And you can get in for as little as $1 a month. And there's yearly rates as well, which saves you a month if you pay by the year, all the way from $1 up to $30. Also, we want to thank our YouTube subscribers, which are now over 6,100, over 1,300 followers on Twitch. And thank you to the 27 of you who use your Twitch Prime subscription to get access to our Discord community and activities as well. Get 20% off your Manscaped order at manscaped.com with the code NINDADS. That's NINDADS. It adds free shipping to your order too, and will have you looking and smelling great for all of that spring cleaning and summer activity that's coming up. Be sure to check us out at nintendodads.org for all of our feeds. Extra Life, yeah, it's already we're already talking about it. It's going to happen. It's going to be epic this year too, by the way. You can head over there and find all the things Nintendo Dads you need to find. Email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And a reminder, wherever you listen to us on your podcast app of choice, go back to that service, leave us a 5-star review, write some words about the show, tell us how good we're doing so other people can find the show and you spread the good news about all things Nintendo Dads. Guys, it's been a blast hanging out for episode 373. So for Tim, for Jesse, for myself, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Check you later, peeps.
Nintendo Dads.
Try that again.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
You gotta get your together. You know what I'm saying?
Wobble Puffet? Wobble Buffet?